when you walk in the middle of it.
No, it was the Sandman discussion. We lost the entire.
Yeah, we
Oh,
lost the
we
entire
lost all the
Sandman
Sandman.
discussion.
God damn it, Greg.
Greg, do you know how to
Still.
do the Greg? Do you know how to do the premiere on YouTube?
I do not.
Oh, I love it, dude. It's the simplest shit in the world. I'll show it to you.
Okay.
So that way you can have the video set up like 15 minutes before you go live, like Tony does.
Well, I actually hit the button on accident. We're live right now.
Hey, all right.
So, at least that's what
Great.
YouTube says. It says we're live. 27 seconds. So there we go. Last week I hit it like 30 minutes late. Today I'm gonna hit it like 10 minutes early. So there we go. We are live. But welcome back. This is Mark 62.
He's definitely the mailman.
That's right. No, there's no consistent time. Welcome back. This is Mark 62 of the Super Civil Servants Podcast. My name is Greg. I've watched a ton of content today. And of all the content that I watched, I think that the biggest lesson I learned was don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and lakes you're used to. Bitches. So that's probably the best lesson I learned all day.
Is that TLC? I think that's TLC.
No, that is Klaus. That is Klaus.
No,
it's all him.
TLC. You're funny.
And the Destiny's Children.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, as you see, I've watched a lot of Umbrella Academy Season 2 today preparing for the show. We've got a lot of content to cover. We have a lot of people on the show today. I'm going to start it off, first of all, with Chris. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. We start officially with remote learning on Monday.
Yes.
Beginning of the year is starting.
I just went through the remote virtual houses.
Yes, we did that this week, too.
Open houses, yeah. It was kind of funny because the elementary school open house that I did was interactive with the teacher. It was like a live chat like we're doing right now. And the middle school one that I did was all pre-recorded messages we had just listened to.
Oh, we went straight live, baby. We don't play.
It was odd. But
They don't want to listen to parents bitch. They did it the smart way. They were like, look, we'll pre-record it and we can't have anybody bitch or talk about anything because they can just deal with the recording.
That's probably a good point. And there you go. You hear him, Nathan. He's with us too. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great, guys. It's been a while since we talked, and I'm ready to just sit here, diarrhea of the mouth over things that I don't even know what's going on. So you guys are about to enlighten me. I'm about to learn with the listeners.
Dude, when are you coming back to Twitter? The Twitter universe
Fuck
misses
that place.
you.
It's a cesspool. Nobody misses me in the
you.
first place, and it's fucking...
Yes, we do. Be quiet.
Now I feel
I
obligated.
miss you because you keep on asking me what's happened 2 days ago.
Well, I'm the new Greg.
Yeah,
I'm the new Greg.
exactly. I feel obligated to see. Even Nathan's not even on Twitter, and I'm sending him information. It's like, yeah, I found that about a day ago. And he's not even on Twitter. So
This
that's
is
how
true.
bad I
did
am.
do that. I did do that once. I went, whoa, Greg! Like I heard about that.
But Sarah's back with us today. How you doing, Sarah?
I'm doing well. Like I said, I'm having a little bit of, might sound a little bit differently because my computer decided it wanted to update itself. So I had to grab some other tech. So it might be a little
Understandable.
I was like, you sound fine.
But I'm going to be, I guess I'll be technically unemployed for the next week. So I'm kind of excited about that.
A week unemployment, that's awesome.
Well, I get to get the kids started with the school, which the whole
Very
school
unemployed.
thing. Which is,
So there's no vacation whatsoever
Yeah.
with that. Then that's just a whole headache.
I didn't say I won't go slip out the house every now and again. So I'm like,
Well, dude, if you're
but
married
there
and a
will-
parent, there's no vacation ever anyway. So
It's called the time for when you put your kid into the car seat and walk yourself to the front of the car. It's called your little vacation. And go to the Bahamas like for every 5 or 10 seconds.
No.
Yeah.
It took me getting married and being a father to realize why guys spend so much time in the bathroom, to be honest with you. It's just because we just want time to ourselves. Like, we don't give a shit. We just want time to ourselves.
it's just like in the army, man. That's the one place they can't mess with you is in the bathroom.
Exactly.
Like, you go in the bathroom because they can't do anything to you in there. So, and we got a special guest tonight, Mr. Cody Lasting from the C3 Panthers podcast, the Cripple Connection podcast. He's all over the place, man. How you doing, buddy?
Greg, my brother, what's up, man? Happy to be back on the Super Civil Service podcast. It's been a long time, but
Been a while.
yeah, I'm happy to be back. Happy to be rapping with you guys. Me and Sarah are talking face to face for the first time. Wow, man, what a momentous moment.
Yeah,
I'm happy. I'm excited to be here and ready to talk some Umbrella Academy.
Nice.
Greg is just all about bringing people together.
That's
We
what I try to
are.
do.
He really is. He really is.
That's what I try to do. But
The Professor Xavier of podcasts.
That's right. That's
Did he just make a crack? Did he just make a crack about your hair? Is that what?
Maybe. Oh, it's good stuff. But yeah, we like what you say, man. We do got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. And Umbrella Academy is one of the big things on the menu. So we're actually got about 4 shows we're going to talk about. So we're going to kind of split it up a little bit, do shows and some news, then go back to some shows. So we're not just constantly talking about shows for an hour.
I almost asked what the 4th one was.
Yeah.
I'm just talking myself out loud over here, guys. Sorry.
So we're going to go ahead and get it going tonight with the review of the first half of Umbrella Academy Season 2. So, Cody, man, you're the guest tonight. You wanted to come on and talk about this because I know you love this show. I know have you watched the whole? You haven't watched the whole thing yet.
Yeah, I watched the whole. Yeah, all of Umbrella Season 1 and 2.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah, all
Good.
of it.
Well,
Yeah.
talk to us just about the first half. If you get through in the second half, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go probably watch that tonight because I'm off the next 2 days, so it'll be watched the next day or two. But
Yeah.
get it started, man. What do you think about this season? Did it come back strong?
I enjoyed it, and I felt like how they navigated every character going back to a different year in the 1960s and having to meet up with one another. I thought that was a good twist. I enjoyed it. I felt like we got some meaningful character development amongst all of them. I felt like I enjoyed the characters more this season. So Klaus, dude, I loved the Destiny's Child. Him just ripping shit off and just having fun. Like, I imagine if you went back in time, you would have to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, just predict the future, just form a sex cult, whatever, man. That's all good.
It'd be just like Hot Tub Time Machine instead of Google. It'd be
100%.
Okay, like it'd be Nathan or something. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy it. I liked the number 2 was wrestling with not having a voice in the middle of the civil rights movement, and you had to kind of see her adapt and mold to that. And I even enjoyed the dynamics between Klaus and number 6, I believe his name is. Yeah, Ben. I enjoyed that more, and I felt I won't spoil what it was, but Ben, in my mind, had the best moment of the whole season, and it happened later on in the show, and I enjoyed it a lot. I really did.
I really like Ben. My biggest problem is Klaus, that dick. We know he can just manifest him at will, but with, like, family meetings and stuff, he's like, nah, it just leaves you invisible. Like, come on, man. Your brothers and sisters want to talk to him.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing with Ben is, too, they haven't, the whole time Ben's been there, the first season, the second season, you've never really seen him express at any point in time how much he misses, the family and everything, but he does. In this first few episodes, a couple times, he's like, man, I miss you guys so much. And I can understand that. Could you imagine just being alive basically forever? And only being able to talk to one person if they choose to talk to you.
And he's all drugged out all the time, so you're not even really, you're just talking to a brick wall. You know he can see it, he's just being a dick. Like, he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you learn in this show is that Klaus was the one that asked him not to leave. He was going to pass over, and Klaus pretty much wanted him to stay there because that was his only friend, and I felt that was, it added more dynamics to it, and it let you understand that they're both kind of holding on to each other because they're literally all they have. And I enjoyed that. I felt that they evolved that relationship more this season.
Okay.
I like the different character team-ups in this one. I felt like we got more of, like, the odd bedfellows. Ones we didn't see together much more. Like, like Vanya and Five. Like, just seeing those two together, I just realized how much, like, whoa, we never really saw those two together in season 1, like, at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you'd see like Klaus and Allison. Like, and that was a great pairing where they're just like getting drunk together. Like, God, he fits right in with the girls. And I say that the best way possible, but like, he just doesn't give a shit. He's just down to drink and do the hair and talk. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. This Klaus continues to be my favorite character on the entire series.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Can you imagine how fun that scene was? The scene where they're in the salon and they're dancing around and they're imagine how fun that was to film.
Yeah,
like they had to have had such a great time filming that one. And can I say, before I toss it to Sarah, your thoughts on it, the soundtrack once again for this show, absolutely phenomenal. Music is perfect. They do such a great job on this show with matching the right music to the moment they're going in. Use great songs. Absolutely love it. Sarah, give me some thoughts.
I thought it was interesting, more of like the relationship, because as the end of season 1, you had Allison and Luther were kind of coming into their own, which everybody was kind of weird about. But I'm like, you're not really technically, related, I don't think. But then when you come into it and when they meet everybody, he finds out that she's married, and then Klaus, with the relationship that he had from the previous, and then trying to meet, I don't know how far this goes into it, but exactly when it happened, but meeting his future, trying to save his life, and that just kind of blew up in his face. And
backfiring, yeah.
And then with, the crazy chick. What was her name?
I have it right. Lila, yeah.
I
He had Lila, and you had an introduction to her with, now what's his name? See, y'all catch me at the end of the day.
I do have a list of names. If anyone needs me to.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have
we will be referencing. Yes,
I have the IMDb.
Lila and Diego, I thought that was interesting. So I mean, it wasn't just everybody dropping in at different points in time and then finally meeting each other, because one came a couple years earlier, one came a year earlier. It was kind of interesting how they made their way unto themselves. But then, like I said, the relationships they created for themselves, I thought was a interesting dynamic from the first season. So there was that character development where you go a little bit deeper and they kind of see a little more into themselves. Especially Diego. I mean, he had a really interesting journey through this season.
Yes, he does. I think he gets my vote for most improved character of the series. Not that I didn't like him last season.
He was one note last season.
Right.
He was very much. I feel like he's got a range this season.
Yes, absolutely.
I love how Klaus walks in too, and he's like, is it just me, or did everybody get sexier?
Yeah. He's
so awesome. He is the best character out there, I'm telling you, man. Love him.
Let me ask you this from the first episode. What was your reaction when you first saw Hazel?
I loved the opening scene, first of all. That's what I was getting ready to say. I love that where they're all working together and shit, and I was like, yes, we're going to get this season. And then, of course, it was 5 minutes, and I was like, you bastards. I should have known. But, I love that, Vanya, she could control her power, and they were all working together shit, and I was like, this is what Reginald wanted. And then, of course, you can't have it just like in the first season where everything was going the right way, and then they had to backtrack. I don't know. It was just typical. I see in Hazel, I was like, what is happening here? He's 110. I don't know. I really like it.
Exactly.
So I want to ask y'all, speaking of Hazel, y'all have watched, Cody and Sarah have watched the whole series. I think me and Nathan have only watched the first half. I don't care if it's spoiled for me. Do we get to see Hazel or Cha-Cha at all again in the series?
No, not Cha-Cha, and no. But I will say this. The way season 2 ends, which I won't spoil, the way it ends opens up a lot of possibilities for a lot of characters, both old and new. Nice. So it's not
So Ben's coming back. What's up? Ben's coming back from the dead.
Now that I've started to learn about the comics and how deep the lore runs, I mean, even if you remember in the first season, Hargreaves was only able to find 7 of the children.
Right.
There's a whole bunch more out there. So, there really is this underbelly of this world that they have to explore. And you add in the fact that Hargreaves is an alien, is not from this world. You saw that at the end of last season. You saw that when his wife was dying and she had the violin for Vanya. So as this show continues to build, I'm more and more excited for the next season than I was the prior one. Right. So I'm more excited for season 3 than I was for season 2.
Well, Greg and I speculated Creepy Carl maybe was somebody that had powers, one of the other kids when we were watching season 1, because, like you were saying, there's a whole other host. He only got 7, like you were saying. And
right.
Greg, we were speculating, so like maybe he's, maybe, I don't know, some mastermind from one of them kids that had powers. But he was born on the same day. He just was a regular kid. But I am curious what happened to the rest of them.
What's funny is that we called that character Creepy Carl. I can't remember his name. He's the bad character, but one of the actual bad guys not the bad guys, the husband of Sissy, kind of a jerk, named Carl.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and he's kind of creepy. I was like, that's great. They heard me and Nathan on the podcast, and they were like, hey, you know what? We need to put Creepy Carl in the next season for sure. He's a small character. So I'm gonna lie. When I saw the Sissy and Vanya relationship, I thought immediately right from the beginning, I was like, oh, this is going to get romantic. And then after like the third episode, it didn't. And then as soon as I thought, okay, maybe it's not, of course, then it does. You know.
Am I the only one that was kind of annoyed with Vanya this season? I felt like they rehashed her story from last season. Like it was her just finding out about herself, right? So in season 1, she wasn't aware of her powers, and then she realizes it at the very end and almost ends the world. And then just to give her amnesia, it's like kind of a cheap attempt at doing the same thing. I feel like out of all the members of the Academy, her character is the most one note, if that makes any sense.
No pun intended.
She's kind of muddled. I mean,
Yeah, right. One note.
Go ahead, sir.
she's kind of muddled because I mean it's like her character's just like wishy-washy. You can't just it's either
Right.
she's strong one minute and then it's like just a total I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And-
It kind of stresses me out. I'm just like,
And how is she
okay,
supposed
let's
to
find your
have-
backbone.
Yeah, how is she supposed to have meaningful character development if her character has amnesia? She's not allowed to develop. She's not allowed to develop because she has to remember everything.
Yeah.
And then it's
Well,
kind
same
of
thing in
forced
season
on her.
1.
Yeah, right, 100%.
It's like the same thing. She's like always held back to where she can't be her full potential.
Right.
If they do it again in season 3, it'll be like Cartman. From South Park.
That's what I was gonna
Like,
say.
damn it!
Yep. I was gonna say they have one more chance in season 3. She needs to come back knowing what she can do and control of her powers. The difference is though, in this one, she didn't remember, but she had control of her powers after like episode 2.
Yeah,
So I
which
mean,
I did like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
I
like she
appreciate
didn't know, but it was real quick. As soon as she realizes she doesn't know, she meets her family. She accepts who she is. At least I've only seen episode 5. She accepts who she is, and she's using her powers. So that's kind of the difference. In the last one, she wasn't aware at all, and then discovered her powers at the end of the season. So,
Well, I feel like everybody this season was like leveled up a little bit. Like they were actually using their powers again, and they were working. Like, you know what I mean? I felt like they could do a little more, control a little better, all of them.
Yeah.
Especially in that opening scene where you saw all of them working together. But I mean, even throughout the series, they just seemed like they were a little more polished, a little more, a little stronger, I guess.
Yeah.
Just a little more in control, basically.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, in that opening scene, Klaus has an army of undead.
Yeah,
Like,
which is
kicking
awesome.
ass for him.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
that's dope. I love
And
that.
Ben, when they panned up to the roof, he was almost corporeal. Like he wasn't blue like them. Like he was almost, you could full on see him. You know what I mean? Because he's with him so much.
I liked. I love the Klaus Ben relationship. We were kind of touched on it earlier, but I love when he's in the bar scene and he's playing the game of poker, and Ben's telling him the hand so that way he can win the games of poker, and he lies to him about the last one. I love that back and forth relationship they have like that.
Klaus telling the fable of the scorpion and the frog. I was just like, dude.
Allison's like, what the fuck does that have to do?
I laughed so hard at that dumb shit. I was like, yep, that's perfect.
I was
And
waiting
Allison
for an
had the
actual
perfect
lesson.
reaction.
Yeah, I was waiting for a lesson. It didn't come.
Yeah.
So.
Well, see, he got you.
Yeah.
He got you.
So let me think. What about the? So they call these 3 new villains. I get not villain. Yeah, partially kind of sub villains. The triplets.
I call them Tweedledee, Tweedledum, and
Huey, Dewey, and Louie. I think is what they said, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So
The
they're
Swedes,
but they said
though.
they called them the triplets once, but they're not triplets. They're just 3 Swedish blonde hair guys. What do y'all think about the
Really?
knife?
I thought they were brothers.
Oh, they could be
I might
brothers,
be wrong,
but they're
I
not.
thought
But they're not
they were-
triplets.
I think they are brothers.
Yeah, but they're not.
Yeah, yeah,
triplets.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah,
they look
they're
different
brothers.
ages.
Yeah. But
The littlest one looked like way younger than them, and then the biggest one looked old, like the oldest. You know what I mean?
They reminded me a little bit of the twins from The Matrix, a little bit.
yeah,
Kind of silent,
Yeah.
but kind of
I get
ethereal
that.
in the
Yeah.
same way.
Good comparison. I thought it was interesting. The what is the female's name that was the head of the commission?
Yeah, I can never remember.
Handler.
The handler. I never remember her
Yes,
name either.
yes.
Well, that's what
So-
they call her. Call her the handler. I mean,
That's it. We
Okay.
don't know her name. Okay, well, see, I thought okay, but it's the handler.
Well, she's trying to set up Diego, it looks like, because she made sure she got the knife stolen, and then she made sure that one of those brothers got killed and that the knife was there, so it looked like it was Diego that did it. I haven't seen the rest of the season, so I don't know where it goes
Me either.
yet, but they definitely revealed that was her that did that. So I'm interested to see where that goes in the future. I know Sarah and Cody are probably like, "Oh, just wait."
Yeah, I'm stopping it.
Now, that's one thing I love about the show is it definitely keeps me guessing about what's going to happen next. And what's funny is it's really the same story hashed out over again, but they're doing a great job of telling it. I mean, it's the exact same plot line. And I was starting to think to myself, I was like, I wonder if every season is going to be like, okay, beginning of the season we have X amount of days till the end of the world, and we've got to figure out how to. And they could change it up every time and have a good time doing that.
Well, I know Sarah can back me up on this. It does not seem like season 3 is going to be doing that. Okay. It's going in a very different direction, which I'm pumped for. I'm honestly really excited about. There's a lot of different opportunities to do cool stuff, but I also thought number 5. I didn't really notice any growth from his character, but at the same time, I didn't really give a damn. Like he's like this, this stuck-up little kid who's lived a hellacious life. And now he's always navigating something, always having to worry about this and then try and save this person from dying and worry about his brother and trying to prevent the apocalypse. It's like, I like the fact that he is the through line that kind of ties everyone together. And I find him the most fun out of everyone in the show.
I was real quick, Nathan, before you go. I was thinking about his story earlier, number 5. 1, he never changes. Everybody else changes clothes. He always wears the exact same thing. But 2, think about his life. Like he went back in time, lived 45 years, lived in the apocalypse, or lived however many years with Doris, and then lived 45 years in the apocalypse by himself. Then he comes back in season 1, has 7 days before the end of the world. Then at the beginning of season 2, he comes back and has 8 days before the end of the world. Yeah. So realistically, he lived 45 years by himself, and then in the next 2.5 weeks, he tries to save the end of the world, stop the end of the world from coming twice. Like that's pretty.
That's
insane
what I was
going
gonna
to
say.
That's
what I was gonna say. There's not going to be any character growth because he's already not an old man, but he was like, you know what I mean. He's got to be 50 years old, 55, 60, something like that. He's pretty much set in his ways by now. Where he's not much. I mean, you can grow, but you know what I mean. Like that's just him, especially living in the apocalypse by himself and. Like he was banging a mannequin, and even Klaus calls it out, which was hilarious.
And by the way, he needs to be the next live-action Jason Todd. If they're going to put a Jason Todd in a movie, he'd play a great part for Jason Todd.
Who?
The guy who plays number 5.
Sold.
Yeah, I think he'd be a great Jason Todd in live-action DC movies. I agree.
Great.
I agree. He's great. You could bulk him up a little bit, but I mean, you don't have to. So, but let's think. What else about this?
I felt like Luther was better this season. I feel like he's like a little more evolved and a little more loose and a little more of a...
Not as whiny. Still whiny, but not as whiny. Yes.
I normally don't ever care about the superimposed romance that is obligatory in every single show. But I actually did find myself caring about Luther and Allison, and I was rooting for them. It's like... The dude's been on the moon forever for no reason at all.
For no
Dad just played him like a moron. Comes home, and now she's has her own life. And then, after he has a chance to start over, and then they go back in the past, and now she has a husband. And she's a part of a movement. I felt bad for him. I really did. Feel bad for Luther early on, and I am hoping for more of a resolution to that at some point.
Yeah. I wanted to ask y'all, you reminded me of that code, I didn't write it down, but the cultural aspects of this show, like the stuff they show, and do you think that has anything to do, because this obviously was written in the past few months and, acted out in the past few months, do you think they intentionally put that kind of stuff in there? They put it in that time frame to kind of show these cultural aspects of the world going on? Because I noticed that in the first season, they were in present time, but it didn't feel like our world. Whereas now they're in the 1962, 63, and it feels like USA 1962, 63.
I would say yes and no. Because in the original comic books, 5 going back to the time of JFK's assassination, it is a huge part of it. So I think it was an opportunity to continue with the story that they were already telling, but also be able to go into the time frame of the 1960s, and you do have a civil rights movement. And Allison is the only black family member in the group, and you did have an opportunity to kind of explore that. Obviously, the world is supercharged right now. I'm sure it had something to do with it, but it didn't seem as though they were.
But this was written and done filming before the pandemic, though. So this was So I don't think anything had an influence on. Honestly, they were finishing stuff up at the beginning of when all this happened. Like they were putting the touches on the the effects and all that, because it's not a super effects heavy show, but it's an effects heavy show. So I think this is just like this is the story they wanted to tell. And it just everything else that happened in our time, life just happened to happen and coincide with it.
Okay.
Well, it never felt like pandering.
See, exactly. That's what I mean. It felt like this was a part of the story they wanted to tell. It wasn't pandering, and it wasn't, hey, let's jump on this and be a part of the times thing. To me, it felt natural. Like this is where they were, where they, you know what I mean? Like, that's just my opinion.
Okay. Go ahead, Sarah.
Well, I just always felt like the 60s, especially 63 or whatnot, especially with Kennedy's assassination. A lot of people have thought in a turning point, well, what if Kennedy had not been assassinated?
So
maybe they went back to a point in time where it was a pivotal point. So if they came in and say, okay, well, what if we did this? So it might have just been, I was just thinking, just like a pivotal time in history, period.
Yeah.
And you had all
Greg and I haven't seen the last half, and you guys did, but maybe if Kennedy, maybe that's why the world's a little different if they save him in this or something. Obviously, they're going to change some kind of timeline because they're a bunch of screw ups. So I am fully expecting them. I am fully expecting something to change, and that could explain why their world. You know what I mean? Like, like Greg, there's no internet, there's no cell phones, nothing like that in this universe, and they still drive. Even in the modern times, their cars were still kind of old timey.
Cars, yep.
Yeah.
So I want to ask a timeline question then. I know that the first season is we'll say the prime timeline, right? We'll call that one the prime timeline. Yeah. That's the original timeline. When they come back in time for the second season, that's an alternate timeline now, correct? That they've created.
Well, this is an end game.
Well, no, but the only reason I asked is because Luther, it's not like Luther. Luther told Hargraves that he's his son, and that in 1989 or 83 or whatever it was, he will adopt these kids. So that completely changes what happens in the future. If it's not an alternate timeline, then wouldn't you kind of Back to the Future at that point, where maybe they disappear, or maybe something happens? Like I don't know. I don't know how time travel works. I'm just going off of Back to the Future or the MCU.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Everybody has their whole, like, if which type of time travel constraints are you going to go?
Are we going Back to the Future? Are we going Endgame?
Or Star Trek? Or are you doing, what are you doing?
Time machine?
I'm going to use my photo booth, my phone booth. Phone booth works better.
There you go. I think
exactly.
I think that
Dan Harmon, the creator of Rick and Morty, he's notorious for saying, I hate doing time jumping and timelines because everything gets so jobbled up, and this is a new timeline, and now here's the ripple effect of what happens now. And inevitably this show is doing that too.
Yeah.
I mean, that question that you have is it going to continue on? It's kind of timelines will change. So there's a whole bunch of crazy timeline stuff that they're going to have to navigate. But after everything they've done so far, I do have faith that they're going to be able to do it well, I think.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my only question with it, because I think that if you're going to go, if it's Back to the Future rules, then those guys have to fade away as soon as he tells Hargraves that he's going to get the kid.
Exactly.
If you're going in-game rules, then as long as they change that and go back to the future where they came from originally at the end of the season, which it doesn't sound like they did, then everything's fine. So I don't know. Maybe it's Umbrella Academy.
Blew my mind, bro.
And if you go to Bill and Ted rules,
everyone
has to be awesome to each other no matter what.
That's right. Now we're getting crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I know Nathan and I have watched the first half. Y'all have watched the whole thing. I know we're just kind of covering a little bit of the first half. We'll probably talk about it a little more next week, because I'm sure that next week we'll want to talk about it whenever we see the finale. But is there anything else y'all want to put out there? We've gone on a little while about Umbrella Academy. Anything else you want to put out there? Scenes you loved, Quotes, characters, anything that really stood out for you
I
that you
loved
liked?
it all.
Or is there anything that
I
you did
loved
not
it
like?
all.
That's what I want to ask, actually. Is there anything y'all didn't like?
I don't think it was.
Go ahead, Sarah. What
I don't think it was because it drug me because the first season it took about 5 to 6 episodes, almost halfway through for me to really get into it. But once I did, I was hooked. This one, from the very beginning to the end, I mean, I just couldn't get enough of it. It just hooked me from then and there.
See, I agree. That opening scene. Yeah, that opening scene drew me right in. Like I said, where they were all working together, and he jumps right in there. And I'm like, "What is happening?" And I was like,
I had all these expectations. I'm like, "Oh man, this is," and then, damn it, we're gonna start over again.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. What do you guys think about the guys? Basically, house they just took over as like their base, because like he thought they were aliens, and he's been taking pictures. Like, what? That guy cracks me up because he's just the weirdest little strangest guy.
The nitrogen
scene?
Yeah, he lived in the alley where everybody landed.
Yeah, let's just say I feel bad for homeboy.
Oh,
no. I feel bad. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Are they going to creepy Carl him?
Don't get too attached.
So one
no. R.I.P.
Greg, I know you mentioned the music, but I love the cinematography. I find the whole show is beautiful. And I love what they do, how they incorporate the Umbrella Academy logo at the start of every episode in a brand new kind of inventive way. I mean, it's small stuff like that I'd fawn over. I love that type of stuff. And, I also felt like normally whenever you have a show with a bunch of different characters and it flashes from one to another, normally you're kind of disappointed when you leave one. I remember, I was disappointed that it stopped showing a certain character, but then I was excited to go back to another character and see what they were up to because they all had an interesting plot line and storyline throughout the whole show.
Yep.
So I enjoyed it, man. I guess I liked it better than season 1. I feel like it did the right things to build upon the foundation that it laid before. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I have to agree with you. Just watching the first half of the season, I'm already enjoying the first half of the season more than I did season 1. And season 1, like I said, it took me about 4 or 5 episodes to really, really start to like it because it's a lot to take in at first. Then once you understand the characters and you kind of like, okay, this is this person, that's their background story, it's okay. Going to season 2, you already know all that. And it even gives you a small recap at the very beginning, which is great. I love the recap to start it out. And it's so much easier, and I'm loving everything so far, 1 through 5. I wanted to watch 6 as soon as I got done with 5, but I had to watch Transformers, so I had to cut it off. But I'm probably going to watch. Like I said, I'm off. That's right. I'm off for the next 2 days. I'm probably going to watch it when I get done doing this tonight. So, but any final thoughts? Anything else?
Your reaction.
No, it's going to be great. I'm definitely going to talk about it next week for sure.
Well, I just want to throw this out here, which I know this is kind of weird, but the one thing I've noticed, I love the sound design on this show because even like footsteps, even when somebody moving, or it's just it grabs all your senses because especially with the handler, her walking in her heels and
you can hear that clack.
Yeah, exactly, and just the sound design is just certain things that pulls you more into the scene. So, and I thought that was a pretty cool thing.
The sound of Diego's knives when he throws them. That's one thing I always do.
Yeah. Well, I like how they call him out as a low rent Batman. Like, it's like you know who Batman is. Like this is like a lower rent version, or like whatever he says. But
he said, "Think Batman, but aim lower." Is what he said. Yeah, I heard that. That's pretty good. Think Batman, but aim lower. I loved it. So, but his character's really grown on me this season. I really, really enjoyed him a lot more. Him and Luthor. I liked them last season, but I like them even more this season. I'll tell you who I like less this season is Allison. Not that she's done anything wrong. I think it's just a look, to be truly honest with you. I think I liked her curly hair better than her straight hair. Other than that,
actually, I think she looks beautiful. I think she looks beautiful.
I think she looks beautiful regardless.
Dude, I have such a crush on her.
Yeah, she's beautiful regardless. I just like the curly hair better. I think. Man. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Like she's got that pretty smile too, and she shows that smile, and it's like, she just like melts you a little bit. Like
I think that's part of the reason why I identify with Luthor, because I'm like, yes, go get your girl.
Yeah,
like I'm pulling for it. Yeah. I'm trying to see myself in him, I guess. But
her husband's nice as hell, though. I mean, like I said, I'm only halfway through, but like, God, I really like her husband. He's like such a nice guy.
Yeah. He's so nice. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm like, I really like him.
Yeah, let's see. Episode 5 is the episode where it ends, where she says, "I'm going to tell you everything," and then 6 starts out with her falling out. Because had to stop it when it started 6. It starts out with her falling down, from the vortex, the time vortex. So I'm interested to see what happens there. But
are we done talking about this?
I was gonna say, I think we're done with Umbrella Academy. Yeah, let's go ahead because I know Chris is sitting there like, "Come on, I want to say something."
Like, come on, guys. Travis is watching at home, going, "I'm never gonna get. They're not getting me on for this crap."
I hear you. All right, cool. Well, let's go into Umbrella Academy. We'll talk about the last half of that season next week, I'm sure. But let's go ahead. I've got a couple questions, and then we got get Cody out of here, and then we'll go into some news and some more.
Yeah,
scram. Yeah, we're kicking him out. He only has a certain amount of time he can be on it. So.
13 minutes, and you went over.
But I do have a question I wanted to think about I wanted all y'all to answer, and it's basically I've been watching a lot of TV series lately. Obviously, everybody's with COVID-19 going on, and I don't know if people have been catching up on stuff or watching new stuff. There's a lot of new stuff coming out. What are your top 3 TV series in the last, let's say, year to 18 months, year to year and a half that you've watched?
New stuff?
New or old. It can be something that was years ago that you decided to rewatch. Something that the last 18 months, what has been your favorite 3 TV shows to watch? And Chris...
two actually. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Chris, since you weren't in the last segment here and you were kind of jumping at the bit to say something.
I'm still thinking.
Are you still thinking? Okay. Is anybody ready? Because I can go with mine.
When you said like the last year and it can be new stuff, I was like, all right,
let's go, Gregory.
Yeah, it can be new stuff. It can be old stuff. It doesn't matter. So, you want me to go ahead and go?
Favorite stuff to watch.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and go. Look, Umbrella Academy, for me, I absolutely love this show. And now that Season 2 is coming out, I love this first season even more. Absolutely amazing. The Watchmen, probably my favorite show that I watched last year. Fantastic show. Cody, I know you came on to talk about that. I know everybody here loved The Watchmen. Great show. And then me and my wife have been going back and looking at shows that we never watched that everybody's like, oh, these are amazing shows, or, critically acclaimed shows, got a lot of awards. Everybody says you should watch it. And I watched Breaking Bad a couple of months ago. Oh my God, that might be the best show I've ever seen in my life. To be truly honest, it might be one of the best shows I've ever seen.
If you watch it too long in a row, though, you'll start being like, I think I could get away with this shit. Right. And then you start devising in your head, and you're like, whoa, I gotta take a break, or I'm gonna end up going to prison.
Greg, I'm telling you, then if you like that, you're gonna love Better Call Saul.
We actually watched about the first season and a half of Better Call Saul. We liked it. We just we haven't had time to catch up on it because we started new stuff. But it is a good show. It's
a very slow burn, but by about, I think it's in its 4th season, 5th season at that point. But right about the middle of the second season, it really the connections to Breaking Bad really start coming through.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, we watched El Camino right afterwards. That 2-hour movie, the movie about what's his name? Gosh, I can't remember.
Still gonna watch that.
Jesse. Yeah, the movie about Jesse. It was pretty good. I liked it. I think that guy could play a good Robin too. By the way,
yo, bitch,
in the DC universe, he would be an awesome Robin. So
that's all Jesse said the entire show. Yo, bitch, with that emphasis.
Is anybody else got theirs?
Yeah, I think I can go now.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, if it was new, I've said it over and over again. I'll re-say it again. Watchmen, best show, definitely on my top 10 list of all time. Okay. I've never just perfectly timed. Just who could have thought that Lindelof could take a continuation of the comic and just put a new spin on it, taking the ideas of it and finding a new focus. And geez, gosh darn it, how well of a timing that show was. Just looking at all the aspects. Wife and I finished very quickly Ozark. We had never seen it, kind of like what you said, Greg. Just hearing a lot of things at that point. It has been confirmed for a 4th and final season.
Oh, Jason Bateman's awesome.
Yes, and that he writes and directs most of this show is just truly outstanding. That Jason Bateman, the dark stuff he writes for being as funny as he is,
he's got that much range, dude. That's what's so crazy. Know. He's one of the best guys. Like the writing, the directing, the acting. This guy has so much range. It's insane.
Yeah. Yes. So. And then I watched this on HBO, Succession, because I'd given it a chance.
Oh, another good one.
That's right.
I'd given it a chance first run. I got about 3 or 4 episodes in. Just some reason didn't hook me. People were like, man, it should be right up your alley. You talk about different things. And I was like, yeah, and so I just had that COVID time and had some downtime. I said, let me just give it another shot. And I'm telling you what, that show is all sorts of crazy at that point. It's literally like if I were watching a soap opera, this is probably the only type of soap opera I'd watch, because this is nothing but soap opera tropes, just done at a different level of class, I guess.
You said that was Succession on HBO?
Yeah, Succession. Yeah,
I'm cutting my cable box this week and getting HBO Max, and then I have all my streaming services, and I'm all on the list to watch.
Two seasons.
Okay.
2 seasons. Basically,
Succession.
it's modeled after supposedly like the Murdoch family, the Fox family and everything like that, and just the patriarch is supposedly getting ready to hand down his company, and things happen. And craziness happens. And
it's like Game of Thrones for rich people.
Yes, exactly. That's a great idea. Yes, Game of Thrones for rich people. Not as much killing. Notice I said not as much.
Okay, gotcha. Anybody else? Who's next?
Yeah, man, I'll go first. Let me continue this train rolling and say The Watchmen. As someone who is a diehard fan of the graphic novel, and I'm kind of a pessimist when it comes to people adapting someone else's work. It rarely ever works out. The fact that David Lindelof pulled that off, I mean, that feels like canon to me. Like, it feels like the real sequel to the original Watchmen. I cannot recommend it enough. It's the reason why half the nation now knows what the Tulsa Massacre is, which, by the way, was a real thing, and I had no way of knowing
I'm on that list
before The Watchmen. Yeah, it's crazy. Another one that I'm going to end up going with. There's an anime by the name of Vinland Saga, and I don't know if any of you watch Japanese anime, but this takes place in the time of the Vikings.
Okay,
and it is. A lot of people aren't into anime because sometimes they see it as kind of too cartoonish or childish, depending on the show. This is very, very mature. A ton of violence. It's essentially about a boy who is trying to find Vinland, which he doesn't know it, but that's North America. And it is a crazy story. You feel so much for the characters. I could not recommend it enough. Vinland Saga on Amazon Prime. Absolutely awesome. Yeah, Vinland Saga. And then, oh man, the third one. Man, this is actually tough, man.
See, this is my real reason for asking you. I'm just looking for new shows to watch. I'm writing all this down.
I got you.
Seriously, man, just go through your Netflix queue and you'll guarantee to find something.
You want to say think about your third one, or you want somebody else to go while you think about it?
Yeah, all right. It was kind of fun. If you're looking for just some mindless fun, there's a show on Netflix called Warrior Nun.
Oh gosh, I saw the preview for that.
I've seen the trailers for it.
Yeah, I saw the preview and I was like, oh my gosh.
I saw the trailer for it, and I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm watching this dumb shit.
And you watched.
But then I started watching.
And I did.
And I'm like, all right, fine, dude, I'm into it.
Cody, you mean it's not all American?
Oh, it's not all American. No.
Those are the exact words I used when that darn Tiger show came on and said, no chance in heck. And I still stuck by it. My wife watched it. I was nowhere near it.
I loved it.
Travis must be watching us because he just told me to check the chat room. So, Travis,
I'm gonna cheat, and I've got 6 shows. Okay,
that's okay. So it's only twice. It's only twice the amount.
You freaking broke the rule.
Yeah, I'm doubling.
Teacher's
pet. I'm taking 2 from everybody else's half.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go. The Boys. Fucking loved it. God damn, I loved it. That was a surprise hit to me. I'm gonna go Umbrella Academy, like Greg said. I had no idea going into that one. And I fell in love with it. And then I'm going to go Doom Patrol because, oh my God, what a gem.
Wow, okay.
Like, what an effing gem that I was not expecting to. And then I'm going to go Mayans because, Mayans was...
Okay, I've got to give that a chance because I was a huge Sons of Anarchy fan.
I love it. I can't wait for season 3. It's going to be different without Kurt Sutter being there because he got fired towards the end of it. I don't know. Still going to give it a chance, but I loved Mayans the first 2 seasons. Easy and Angel, like they're cool. I like them.
Hey, Nathan, did you hear that he's working on some
I did
early
the first
spin-offs?
9 miniseries.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And he's working on a series for the Jax's Boys. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked again. And then Game of Thrones, as always, because I've rewatched, and goddamn, I just fucking love that show. That's my favorite. And then Rick and Morty, because goddamn, if you haven't seen Rick and Morty, that is one of the greatest anime. Like
everybody keeps telling me to watch Rick and Morty. I've tried a couple times.
There's your next superhero discussions. Come on,
it's so fabulous.
I know.
Like, Rick is my idol. Rick Sanchez is my idol. I know people are not supposed to look at him like that, but like Rick Sanchez is my idol. So I'm sorry, but. Yeah, there we go. And I cheated, so that's all my stuff.
Well, actually, Travis.
Dude, I'm telling you though, like Rick and Morty is built for you guys. This kind of show, because it's all about theories and timelines and characters.
I need to give it a chance, I guess. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
I did forget one, and I wanted to add it, so I'm going to break the rules and add 4. If you haven't seen Last Chance U on Netflix. If you're a football fan, I highly recommend it. It's a documentary. They follow a junior college football team. And there's 4 different seasons now. But a lot of these guys are, they're good players, but they come from rough backgrounds. And if they have any shot of getting an offer from a Division I college or a Division II and going playing football and being seen by the NFL, they go to these junior colleges and play football. That's what Cam Newton did.
Cam Newton.
So that's what the show is all about. You genuinely start to feel for the characters, man, because it's a documentary. They're all real people, and you feel for them, and you feel the storyline of the football game. I love it. If you love documentaries, and if you love football like I do myself, it's a must watch.
Okay, I'll check that out. Sarah, you got 3?
Yeah.
I do. I guess if you've listened to me over the past few months at all, obviously Umbrella Academy.
Okay. I knew that one was coming.
Damn,
I think I know 2 of yours.
Y'all didn't sneak in the boys.
Okay.
Snuck in the boys on me. Dang it. And then Jack Ryan on Amazon.
Yes.
Oh, I saw the first season. That was good.
I saw the first season. It's a really good show.
Yeah.
I want that one to come back. Oh, I'm waiting.
I haven't watched season 2, but I'm about to watch Good Omens because Neil Gaiman and stuff. Like I'm about to watch that, and that's the one he did, right, Chris?
Yes.
That's what I thought. I'm gonna have to watch that because I've just recently fallen in love with Neil Gaiman, and like.
Yeah,
I said, if I could just have him just narrate me to sleep, like just read me. He can just reach out of the phone book and put me right to sleep, and I'll just love it. He's
read the
fabulous.
Read the alphabet to me, damn it. Read the alphabet, the dictionary to me, damn it.
Cody inspired me. I got a documentary that just didn't know that stuff that happened. Also on HBO, 6 parts, I think. McMillions, looking at the scandal that of the
Monopoly,
basically the scheme to take over the Monopoly game and cheating the Monopoly game. All the winners were part of this huge scheme to cheat the game.
Oh, okay.
Travis is screaming about the Michael Jordan documentary right now.
Well, there's that. I mean, I didn't want to be
screaming about it.
I didn't want to be that obvious. Yes, Last Dance, amazing, outstanding.
Okay, that was good. That documentary was good.
Oh my gosh, you can't tell me it's one of the best things you've seen. Oh my god, this Jordan love fest. Seriously,
I know it's slanted towards Jordan. I fully admit that.
Here we go. There you go, Travis.
It's about Michael Jordan.
Look, no, it's not. Look, here's my thing. I don't mind Michael Jordan. I like Michael Jordan. He was a Tar Heel. He's, in my opinion, if he's not number 1, he's number 2. If he's not number 2, he's number. I mean, like obviously he's there. He's 1 or 2. I just go by stats, and I went through so many arguments between Travis Snell and Travis Hines about 2 days ago that I was so worn out that I felt bad the next day. T-squared got me. That I felt bad the next day. I was like, man. I don't want to argue with anybody about anything today because I feel like I just spent all my juice for the whole week arguing on those 2 things. But yeah, I've got to watch that, by the way, because I made that deal with Chris, and I know he's at least watched some of the Umbrella Academy. So
I'm working through it slowly, but hey, you want to watch a good flip of it though, Greg?
What's that?
Watch The Last Dance, then watch Lance with the 30 for 30 about Lance Armstrong. You want to talk about, because that premiered right after it, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, I got really excited about The Last Dance. Man, he is a gigantic, biggest a-hole and doesn't care that he doesn't care that you know it at that point.
No.
Man.
Speaking of Travis, he's in our chat room right now. I wanted to say he did mention the Watchmen, Rick and Morty, and Curb S10.
Yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
That's what I figured it meant. That's what I figured it meant. Yeah. So, Okay, so since we're all kind of going off a couple more, we recommend The Boys. Obviously, something that I had debated with between that and Umbrella Academy, but Umbrella Academy I've already seen season 2. I'm sure once I see The Boys season 2, I'll probably feel that way about The Boys. They're both great shows. I'm going to start watching Sons of Anarchy based on y'all's recommendations. After I finish watching the current old show that I should have watched years ago, I'm watching Walking Dead right now with my wife, and The Walking Dead is a fantastic show. I'm really enjoying it. I can say I watched a show called Falling Skies. It was a TNT original. Had Noah Wiley, had Moon Goodblood in it. Love that show.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that show.
What the fuck is a Moon Goodblood?
That's the girl who played the female in Transformers, the female lead in Transformers. Not Transformers. Terminator Salvation. I'm sorry, I don't want to say Transformers. Terminator Salvation.
That one.
Yeah, the female lead in that one. But it has a few good actors in it. Went on for about 5 or 6 seasons. I can't remember. Absolutely love that show. It is the exact same show as Walking Dead with aliens.
Here we go.
With aliens instead of zombies. No, I'm telling you. Even my wife pointed that out to me. My wife was like, "This is exactly like Falling Skies, just with zombies."
We can't
instead
take
of
you
aliens.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Every show takes from every other show.
I know. But I mean,
Next thing, watch. He's gonna go. Marvel and DC are the same goddamn thing.
They are the comics.
Superman's like Captain America.
Yeah.
But
Thanos and Darkseid, who would have thought?
Star Wars and Star
recommend
Trek,
that.
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'd recommend Falling Skies. If you haven't checked that out, a fantastic show. Doesn't get enough credit. Check it out. What were you gonna say?
Go ahead. I got 2 more.
Uh-oh.
Real good. I'll be fast. World's Most Wanted. It's on Netflix right now. Every part is an hour-long documentary series about people who are still at large right now. They're
don't scare me.
Most over, like, dude, some of
Real
these people,
horror. Yeah.
you cannot believe that they're real people. Like, it
you
is
can't.
the craziest
world's
shit in
sick.
the world. Well, dude, when you get to the episode about the White Widow, this white British woman who ends up joining like a Muslim terrorist cells, dude, I'll let you watch it because it's just, dude,
I'll watch it.
it is so crazy. And,
You don't make it sound
Peer
fun.
pressure. Nathan needs to do it. I don't know. Okay.
Hey, if you
Dude,
talk me into it, I'll
I
watch
bet,
it.
and
Sick
then a
bastards.
much more lighthearted jaunt. It used to come on Showtime, but most of all the episodes are on Netflix now, and that's Shameless.
Oh yes.
With William H. Macy. It's
I just finished season
it's one
10.
of those shows that I've been watching it literally for over 10 years now.
Yep.
So I love the characters.
I watched the first 2 seasons and never came back. I don't know why.
Oh,
I need
dude,
to give
it's
it a
so
reset.
great. So
I
great.
know.
What's his
They're all
face
on
that was in Gotham and Fallen Order?
The guy who played the
Ian,
Joker.
the dude, he plays Ian in the show. The guy with the bright red hair.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's in the Star
Damn
Wars
it.
video game.
Travis is screaming in the chat room. Look at it because he played Jerome on Gotham. And
Yes,
or
there we go.
whatever. So you just keep looking in the chat room.
See, y'all
Travis
keep
is
telling
about
me to look in the chat room.
click and
Travis
clack.
is not saying anything. Travis needs to come on here and say something. We should
Well,
say.
fucking.
Yeah, why is he watching the chat room and not
Because
on
he's
Travis?
know.
supposed to get done talking about stuff that he doesn't care about, and then he's like, "All right, guys, all right, time."
Oh, he does care about
Yeah,
it.
I'm
He's
sure he
screaming
cares.
about
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Don't get to scream until you come on there, Travis.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, Sarah, did you have anything else you wanted to add? Any other shows? We've all had a few on there. You might as well tack a few on there if you got anything.
well, actually, Doom Patrol, obviously.
Okay.
And then also
Ma'am.
Space Force, I thought was pretty funny.
Space
Yeah,
Force?
I
That was
enjoyed
when
that too.
Steve Carell-
I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would, just based on Malkovich and
there were just certain
the characters in
moments
there.
that was just.
But there were certain moments. It was a good show. I wasn't mad. I watched it. Yeah, it was a good show.
All of the reviews were terrible, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like, I had
Yeah, I
fun
enjoyed
with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd watch the second season of it, and they definitely set up for a second season of it. So
Yeah,
pretty good.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Well, I've only got one more question that I'm putting out there, and then we'll start to get into some news. And my question is, I heard on listening to one of my podcasts this week.
Heard a rumor?
I heard a announcement about the from Forbes magazine about the top 10 actors that have made the most money in the last 12 months, and I was like, you know what? I was like, the names kind of surprised me, so I thought I'd bring it up on here, and I didn't mention it to any of y'all beforehand because I didn't want y'all to research it, even though you obviously can while we're looking at it. But no big deal. I want to see if y'all could guess some of these actors that are on there. And because it really surprised me, especially like 1 through 5, I was like, "Wow, I can see it, but it's very surprising." So, Forbes magazine, like I said, top 10 actors that have made the most money in the last 12 months. So, throw some names out there. I'll tell you where they're at on the list. Who y'all think they are?
Downey Jr.
Nope, not even on the top 10.
Wow.
The Rock has to be on there, right?
The Rock is number 1.
Number one, dude,
$87.5 million, the number
He's
one
in
actor for the
everything.
last 12 months. Yep.
Well, they just bought the XFL.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. So,
Balling, man.
Anybody else?
I know a couple of the top ones. I don't remember them all, but I heard this on the radio.
Nathan
So I can give you a couple of the top ones, and I'll give you one that nobody's going to get because he hasn't been seen in America in a gajillion years, and you'd never think. But Jackie Chan's like number 3 or 4 because he makes a lot of money over in China, and he has a lot of endorsements and shit.
Jackie Chan is on the list, but he's number 10. But
he is on the list.
I
was going to say, I know he makes... I know he's on the list, and you never think of it because you haven't seen him around here in a long time.
I'm not going to lie. I thought Jackie Chan was dead.
What?
I really did, because there was a thing that came out a few years ago about him dying in the stunt, and I believed it.
Did you go back to We Got This Covered again?
Maybe.
Did you go back and look at that?
Yeah. I saw that and I was like, didn't he die like 2 years ago in a stunt? I wasn't sure, but I'm glad he's alive. That's awesome.
You're lucky it wasn't Chuck Norris because he didn't fucking come through your closet and kick you in the face. Jackie Chan's much more of a peaceful guy. He'll let your shit slide.
All right. What were you going to say, Sarah? You got a guess?
I've been so unplugged recently. It's just I have no clue. I mean, I would say The Rock, but I mean, we're already there, so I don't know.
How about Adam Driver?
Adam Driver's not in the top 10. What'd you say, Sarah?
You got Ryan Reynolds on there?
Yeah, TV. Well, I don't know if it's TV or movie. It just says top 10 paid actors. So.
What about Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hart is not in the top 10.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of some female actresses off the top of my head.
You don't have to worry about it. There's not a female actress on the top 10.
There's not a female actress in the top 10. Well, that's a whole discussion right there.
That is. I'll agree with you on that, but there's not a female actress in the top 10.
That's a whole problem there.
They do a whole separate list for the actresses. They'll get their own list. Don't worry, they get their whole thing.
Stop it! Don't make me come over there.
So yeah,
man, why is it so hard, man? I feel like this should be easy.
I know, right?
And the names, the names I'm going to tell you when y'all finally decide to give up is you're going to be like, "Holy crap, are you serious?"
Just tell them.
Yeah,
just
go for it.
You want me to spill it out? Okay, so y'all already got number 1 and number 10. Number 1, number 10's gone. Dwayne Johnson, Jackie Chan.
Start with 10.
Start with 10. Go up. Okay. Number 9's Adam Sandler, $41 million.
Netflix.
Whoa.
Netflix is a common denominator in this list.
That Netflix one is something different.
Mm-hmm. Number 8 is Will Smith at $44.5 million.
He does a lot.
I thought about him. Yeah, I mean, I thought about him, but
dude, he's more known for an R&B singer poking his wife than he is for his movies nowadays.
Lately, at least, yes, I agree with
you. Yeah, lately.
What did they call it? What did she call it?
Entanglement.
An entanglement.
Yeah, entanglement, dude. What the hell? She's a psycho, by the way.
Oh God. You would entangle her. Stop it.
Yeah, no, because
he's like, well, yeah. I mean,
of course.
Yeah. I mean, at least one time, but no. After that, no, she's a psycho. I'm telling you.
Number 7 is Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes, that totally makes sense.
So, and that's basically just from Hamilton being bought by PlayStation.
I was gonna say, I don't know who that is, but
he's the guy, one of the leads in Hamilton, right?
Well, but he did a whole bunch of work on Moana and Mary Poppins. His big break was Into the Heights. So
okay. So that's why I've heard the name a gazillion times.
Probably, yeah. So it's familiar.
I've heard the name. I just can't put a face to
it. Number 6 is Ash K. Kumar. Is the only Bollywood actor on here, which makes sense because I know Bollywood is, I'm not familiar with any of the movies really, but I know they're very popular. So
huge.
Number 5 is Vin Diesel, $54 million.
That's Netflix production.
Mm-hmm. Dude, still?
That's what I was thinking too when I saw that. I was like, "Are you serious? Really?"
Yeah. He's not even in movies anymore.
He's got Netflix production deals. Just wait. His production company's killing it on Netflix. He's got a bunch of shit that he does.
Dude, Netflix is just throwing money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Netflix is throwing it out. Like, they're laying down the money deep.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit. You want a little bit? You here. They're just slapping people with it.
Shit, where's my Netflix?
Right. I don't care. Hey, the next 3 that are 4, 3, and 2 are going to blow your minds. Number 4 is Ben Affleck, $55 million.
That doesn't blow my mind.
Well, just because I haven't seen him in much lately, but I think, I don't know. I mean... What is he? I mean, I personally haven't seen him in much lately. Not saying he hasn't been in much stuff lately, but I personally haven't seen him in much stuff lately.
Residuals from BBS.
No, I think he's got a production
there you
company
go.
as well. I do believe.
New Justice League cut from the and he's going to do
Yes.
and of
Hey,
course,
that would be awesome
of course,
if
they're
that's what it
pre-funding
was.
him for the HBO Batfleck series. With Deathstroke and Batman. So
Mm-hmm.
that's coming out, y'all. It's going to happen. We're going to find out about it next Saturday. I'm telling you.
I saw one. I saw one on there. None of it.
Boss Logic does not lie to me. That's all I'm saying. All right, number 3 is Mark Wahlberg, $58 million. The third
Him and the
highest.
Funky Bunch.
The third highest paid. That's residual from New Kids on the Block.
Wahlburgers, baby,
yeah.
Wahlburgers.
No, from he's got the Funky Bunch with him. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? Like, he's got it.
Number 2.
I'm waiting for that reunion, by the
Dwayne
way.
Johnson. Number 2, surprisingly, is Ryan Reynolds.
Someone said Ryan Reynolds.
I said that earlier.
Who said Ryan
yeah.
Reynolds?
I did earlier, way
Nathan,
earlier. And you ignored the
Nathan,
shit out of me. I said
Once
it at least
again,
3
dude,
times,
you
so
know I don't
let it
listen
go.
to you, dude. Come
I
on,
just let it
seriously.
go.
It's always Nathan that I miss. Yeah.
I know.
Dude, is
Walk
it
him
just
out.
me, or is that list kind of depressing?
Very
Like, I don't know.
impressive.
Like, I don't feel like, other than The Rock, I feel like his movies are all very superficial anyway. But like, there isn't like one actor in that list that I love. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie. Every single movie I see Ryan Reynolds, Mark Wahlberg, Ben Affleck in, I love. Every single movie, with the exception of Wild Wild West, I see Will Smith or Adam Sandler in. Well, maybe a couple of Netflix movies Adam Sandler. I love. So I can see those characters being on there. Because I don't know why. There's something about a Mark Wahlberg movie. Every movie I've ever seen with him in is awesome. Like, I've never seen a bad movie he's in. Well, even
Yeah,
Transformers
older.
wasn't bad. Like, he made that movie better, But like, it's so crazy because a lot of his movies aren't super popular. Don't break the bank in the
What was
theaters.
that M. Night Shyamalan movie that he was in?
Ryan
Reynolds?
No, Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, the one with the cell phones.
Yeah, and like there was like
no.
a virus moving through the air or something.
Yeah.
See that one? I don't want to ruin my set. Or like,
Yeah, don't
I don't
watch
ruin my
that.
image of him. Yeah.
There's always a meme going around with him, like just looking off in the distance, like moving his eyes back and forth. That's from that movie.
Okay.
I think the point of what you bring up, Greg, with no women on this list. We'll leave it at that. And then
This
2,
one, yeah.
outside of Ben Affleck, Ryan Reynolds can do more than he's gotten, except he just keeps on being Ryan Reynolds, which is great. I think it's funny, but it kind of eventually is going to run its course if already it has. But Ben Affleck's the one who's got the most range, but the rest of them, The Rock, Vin Diesel, some of those, Will Smith, they're all escapist actors that, like, to your point, like it's fun, usually fun movies. A lot of times. Like, I think Will Smith also, but he hasn't done a major drama that has gotten a lot of acclaim in a while.
Did you ever? What was it? 7 Pounds? Did you ever see that movie with him in it?
That movie was screwed up, man.
Yeah, but it was. But that was a drama right there. Like, that was a
Well,
crazy
it was,
movie.
but I
Yeah.
prefer Pursuit of Happiness over that.
Okay, that's a very good point. I'll give you that. That was a better movie, Pursuit of Happiness. Yeah,
Did you all see Uncut Gems?
I want to.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. And dude, I prefer Adam Sandler. Obviously, I grew up with Adam Sandler. His movies are classics. The Waterboy, Big Daddy, Happy Gilmore. I love it all. But now I genuinely feel he's better as a legitimate actor than just doing these dumb one-off comedy movies that don't have the slap that they used to. I mean, he was a really good, like, sleazeball in Uncut Gems. Like, I really enjoyed that movie.
A lot of people thought he got hosed by not getting the nomination this year
Yeah.
for actor at that point, and that's the thing. Like, he gets them. It's almost like he does those slapstick comedies, like you said, that have run its course for the paycheck.
Yeah.
But
Right.
if he stops doing those, but he still hasn't got. I don't know if it's a pride thing or something like that. He should do more. But I don't know if it's a pride thing that he's not getting enough recognition. It's like, well, I can make either a lot of money and have a good time and to heck what people think, or I can make just a little bit of a bank and people really do. I still don't see the end game. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I think the biggest point you raise up, Chris, is there's no females on this list, and I don't know if it has anything to do with. I mean, it's definitely that we feel like females probably get paid less for their roles.
That's totally true.
That needs to be taken care of. But a lot of these characters are in multiple things, which I don't know of a lot of females that are like, you see this character in every movie you look at on TV. And that could be a problem too. Maybe you need to have more females in those roles that are in a lot of different movies. But it is interesting that there are no females on this list, and that was the first thing I noticed.
How many white actors? I know it almost seemed like about half the list was white, half not, half
one,
either.
2, 3, 4, 5. 5, yeah, half the list. White actors.
It sounded like half the list. Yeah, that's interesting as well.
Yeah. Very, very much so. But yeah, it's a crazy list. I heard it the other day, and I was like, man, this would be interesting to bring up on the show, just to have y'all guess that and talk about. So I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. And I thought the first 5 were very interesting, even though I respect all of them and I could see them being there. Mm-hmm. If I had to guess first, other than maybe The Rock, I wouldn't have guessed Ryan Reynolds, Mark Wahlberg, Ben Affleck, Vin Diesel as the top 5 moneymakers of last year. But if you really sit down and think about it, I guess it's possible. So.
Do you see, like, when he bought the XFL, he bought it with his ex-wife?
I didn't see
That's his business manager.
That's
his agent and business manager.
Yeah. Okay. Man, she got some guns on her, I'll tell you what.
That hideous horse face. No wonder he divorced her.
Gross.
I mean, sorry. She's a lovely lady. She's got a great personality.
Sure, she has a great personality. That's right.
A model face.
Yeah. All right, Sarah, you got to do the Nathan. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nathan.
That's right.
I'm not saying I'm any prize or anything. I'm just saying, ugly recognizes ugly. It's cool.
That's right.
It's cool.
That's right. It's like I'm allowed to talk trash about ginger because I'm a ginger. I can talk trash about gingers, no problem.
Sure.
So. All right, cool. Well, we knocked those things out. I think Cody, that was about the last thing you want to hang out for because you're not as in tune with the rest of the stuff we're going to talk about. But Cody, man,
please listen to us.
Yeah. Dude, thank you so much for coming on. We're doing the second half of the next week. I might try to incorporate something else that you might want to get involved in if you want to come back next week and talk about the second half of Umbrella Academy. But if not, man, check this guy out Tuesday nights on C3 Panthers Podcast. Actually, you know what? I'll let you plug your own shows. I'm sorry. Where can they find you at, Cody? Where can they find you?
So, you can find me on Twitter at CodyLac, CodyLac. You can find me and my man Greg every Tuesday night on the C3 Carolina Cat Chronicles podcast. And tomorrow, I do the Cripple Connection podcast with my friend Jeffrey. It is a video game by disabled people with disabled topics, but mainly it's just about the video game industry and all the highs and lows. And we're in the middle of a big-time console war going on right now with PlayStation and Xbox. So there's a lot of stories to be had. So check out my YouTube channel, Cody Lashney. And I'll be live tomorrow at 4 on YouTube.
Nice.
And that's it.
Dude, your voice just got like super deep and sultry.
Yeah.
Did you change your settings or something?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say. like I want to meet that guy. As soon as I heard that voice, like, goodness gracious, shake his hand. But
well, gentlemen, thank you for having me. Sarah, it was great to finally meet you.
It was a pleasure.
And whenever you guys would like to have me back, I am down for the get down.
Good deal. Well, Cody, thanks so much, man. And I'm sure I'll talk to you probably later on the night tomorrow.
Absolutely. Later, everyone.
Have a good
one. Later,
one.
Cody.
Bye, Cody.
Oh, I love Cody, man. He's such a great guy.
Nice, fella.
Good talk so far, y'all. We'll check it out. So we got through about half the list of stuff we got to go through right now. We got 3 shows we're talking about and a little bit of things in news. I'm going to pass news to Chris. Because
come on, Travis.
Travis is going to come on shortly. I'm going to pass the news to Chris because here's the thing: is Chris? First of all, he's way smarter than I am. He understands stuff way better, and he's actually this is all true. And he's the one who broke this news to me in the middle of recording DC Alliance podcast last Monday.
I thought you were kidding on it. Then I'm listening to the episode. No, they weren't kidding at all.
No, you broke that to us like live because Chris, we took our break, and then when I came back, Travis was like, no. Do news next. News next. You got to do news next. Chris just sent me this, so we did news next.
And I'm in the middle of recording Marvel Alliance at the time.
Yeah.
So, paying attention. It was too hard not to.
Yeah.
My only knowledge is what I heard Greg and Travis talk about. So I'm curious for you to actually break it down because I know the very basics of this stuff.
So
yes,
break it down, Chris. You introduce.
So rumors started flying around late Monday night, and I caught the story from our good buddies over at Weird Science, and they started hearing and picking up news stories that Warner Media started some huge layoffs that it basically amounted to anyone under Warner Media. About 20% of the company got laid off starting on Monday night or sometime
600
Monday.
employees or something.
Yeah, across the board at Warner Media, DC Universe, DC Comics. I mean, I know a lot of the traction has been focused on DC, but a lot of people lost their jobs with this, and that's one of the big things when the ATT company takeover of Warner Brothers happened, is that it wasn't a question of if, it was a question of when this would happen.
Absolutely.
And so that's always the downside. We celebrate like things like, when Disney, buys out, Marvel, Star Wars, things like that, Pixar. I mean, it's something.
There's always a chopping block.
Yeah, there always is. They got to chop what they consider to be the fat, and
put their own people in places so that they, you know what I mean. It's an unfortunate side effect, but they're going to want your own people in places of power management. You know what I mean? To make sure the shit's ran the way that you want it.
Yeah, it looks like Variety reported about 650 layoffs from Warner Brothers, while HBO is expected to lose about 175, topping 800 staffers. DC Comics got hit hard. A lot of rumors were flying about, including Jim Lee being demoted, losing the publisher status. Today, it broke with DC Comics that a number of titles are ending.
That's what I wanted to know about. Tell me about the comics. I heard a little bit of muss and fuss, but I don't know what's happening.
Give me a second.
Only certain books are getting printed now, or they laid artists on publishers off too?
Well, yeah, they laid off writers, artists. They're starting to look at exclusive contracts, including Scott Snyder, Tom King. That's probably one of the reasons. I'm
no freelance. So I'm just asking. They can't right now. There's some guys that got they write stories here, but then they got they got their own personal thing at IDW or whatever. So if they contract, that means no more of that, right? Or you would think?
It can be. Again, it's just a lot of things are just now in flux.
Right, you're right.
And I'm just trying to find
conclusions. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I just got to find what I posted all in the group. Oh, here we go. So DC has now hereby canceled Teen Titans, Young Justice, Suicide Squad, which is written by probably their biggest named writer, Tom Taylor, Hawkman. It looks to be John Constantine is done, but there's a Black Label. They're now also reconsidering the Black Label at this point, so that may be on the chopping block.
What about trades?
The thing that they started talking about with trades is that, and I saw some interesting statistics about this, is that graphic novel sales, trade paperbacks, the collections have had a huge growth even before COVID. I try to.
I'm a trade waiter.
Yeah, I'm a big trade waiter at that point, just because I can't do the weeklies at that point, and like you, I'll be spoiled, but by the time I get it, it's kind of new to me. So
exactly.
But so they're looking at that, but there's been a lot of rumors flying around at that point, and so thank goodness that Heat Vision at the Hollywood Reporter, Boris Kitt got a interview with Jim Lee.
Boris is the man,
and it was pretty telling. He was very honest about it, and one of the first questions he asked is, DC still publishing comics? And he says, absolutely, 100%. It's still the cornerstone of everything we do. That said, we're reducing the size of the slate by, looking at the bottom 20%, 25% of the line wasn't breaking even or losing money. And I hate to say, as a comic book collector, a lot of times that is,
Yeah, I know.
And I know our good buddy Eric and I definitely count myself. I'm a huge John Constantine fan, but it's hard to fight when it's hard to stand up, even though he has been getting a lot of play at that point. He's still just a very niche character, and I don't think we're ever going to expect him to be like a Batman and Superman. But he
does better with the Justice League, or with
he does better with the
Justice
team.
League Dark. Yeah, he really does. But
to the point of, can a John Constantine comic do well? It can. However, when you have so much out there, and this happens even at Marvel. Marvel goes through this as well, where they have to cancel a bunch of them just because they're not pulling their weight and they're losing money. Let's see what the other thing. He did answer this. Do you still have the title of publisher? He said emphatically yes. Good. Does your job change at all? Good. He said, I have more responsibilities than ever before. I will continue to be intimately involved with publishing as I have from the get-go. It looks like he said they're bringing on a general manager. He said that my role, the way envisioned 10 years ago, was that I always have a partner that would focus on the operational side. The general manager we're bringing in has a wealth of marketing experience, global partnership. So
That feels like they're bringing somebody in to look over his shoulder, and I don't like that. Jim's a
well,
you know
no.
what I'm saying?
I get what he's saying in the sense of he is a true blue. He came from the comics. He loves comics. He started Image. He co-started Image at that point. So he likes his hands on in those kind of realms and guiding DC. He sounds like he is not a fan, even though he probably is pretty good at it in his running since the deal got let go. That's a huge thing that he has been running this thing pretty much on his own, and so he needs someone so that he can actually start enjoying his job probably again.
Chris,
that's a great point.
Real quick, let me ask you: is the general manager coming in the sports guy they're bringing in?
All he said, the general manager we're bringing in has a wealth of marketing experience, global partnership experience, general business development experience.
EA sports guy, yeah, because there's an EA sports guy they're bringing in, right? I don't know what they're bringing him in for.
I don't know if EA. I just know
think it's a sports lady.
Esports.
Okay.
Esports. I think it's a sports lady.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I just don't know what. I don't see a logic in that. You know, me and Travis were talking about that on Tuesday on DC Alliance podcast. But I don't. I also these guys are way smarter than me, or these guys and gals are way smarter than me. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, I mean, a lot of times it's interesting in the business world. Sometimes they bring in people that you wouldn't think have connections, but they have a different perspective on an industry. You know, it's rather fascinating sometimes when you bring in. I had one good example in my mind, and it'll come to me later.
Post office.
We won't talk about that.
New Postmaster General has nothing to do with mail. Just saying. That's one example right there.
That's one example, but not a good example these days. So,
oh well, nothing to do with mail except for the fact that he owns half of UPS. Sorry, excuse me, don't put that out there, right? Yeah,
we hit a nerve.
Yeah.
DC. They bring up the DC breaking away from Diamond and going to other direct market suppliers at that point. They say it's worked out for them. I know it's caused havoc with some of the comic book shops. They think it's worked out from a business perspective. It has. I still think the comic book shops are still trying to figure that out. One rumor he says is DC going to all trades and original graphic novels and make a deal with Marvel for them to publish DC Comics. He laughs. He says there's nothing further from the truth of that. I don't know where you would even connect those dots. Why would we ever do that? I think part of the rumors is that they got rid of, and I listened to a great YouTube show, Near Mint Conditions, and they did kind of a breakdown of what it is. And one of the lead guys over there, the Uncanny Omar, he has a lot of connections, being that he gets heads up on collections that are coming out. He had a number of people from the collected graphics department that assembles these, that basically emailed him. Like 2 or 3 of them emailed him and said, "Hey man, I just got let go." Like most of that department is gone now, and the rumor is that they're going to farm that out to the publisher IDW. He doesn't address that. That's not brought up to handle their collected editions. Rumor that AT&T hates comics, wants to get out of it. He says that's pretty much further from the truth. Comics serve a lot of different purposes. He directly tackles the DC Universe thing. Basically, this is where the story came out today, that even though we already knew this, that all the original content is heading to HBO Max. He did address the comics that DCU has about 20 to 25,000 different titles. It's connected 24/7. There is always a need for that. We're excited to transform it, and we'll have more news on what it's going to do. So that sounds like, again, like we've all been predicting, DC Universe is going to be the spot for comics. And
maybe some animation. It's
going to be a big thing, because then, you know, it basically is their version of Marvel Unlimited. And I tell you what, DC Universe has done a few good things that beat Marvel Unlimited in a lot of different ways, but that's a huge thing, because I like with a lot of people, this is how you get, and he talks about this, the digital, because that was a big rumor. We're moving away from print and going digital. It says we're upping our digital platform and upping our digital imprint, because he points to mine and our buddy Travis's favorite run, Injustice, really changed the game for DC. Beating that, when that came out digitally first, that beat out sales of Batman, hands down.
Wow.
And then it put it into print and got it into more people's hands. So they are ramping up their digital first line. and just looking at, like, because again, it puts it out into more market, because not everyone has a local comic shop. Like, I stopped collecting weeklies, not because of just money, but my nearest one is Uptown Charlotte. Heroes Aren't Hard to Find. Amazing, awesome shop. But I can't go 30 to 45 minutes once a week, let alone once a month, and justify that in gas cost. So digitally, you can't, you know, I still collect the originals and the graphics because I like that, but I like having on my phone and on my tablet the ability to just kind of grab a comic, download it, and have it in the collections that both Marvel and DC offer on there. Marvel, you got to wait 6 months to get the new stuff. DC, I hope they change it. I don't like that we have to wait a year. I like 6 months I can deal with, but waiting a year behind. But there's so much that you can have at your fingertips. I'm just so happy that they're going to probably most likely move it. I would love to hear that at DC Fandome. But you know, that was interesting, but just all this talent let go. But like I said, they're looking at exclusive contracts. So that's probably one of the reasons Scott Snyder, besides being burned out of everything running basically the DC direction now, he is stepping away after Death Metal. He's just stepping away from the DC main line.
Okay.
He still will be involved in DC, but the main line, he's going to focus a lot more on his independent stuff, but he will still be involved in DC. But yeah, it's some big name. I think Bob or Ben Harris, one of the major editors, is gone. Like, they got rid of a lot of big people, and it's sad. I tweeted it out from the World's Finest account that you know, these creators are a lot of times, which is why I do my podcast the way it is. I put names, I give you background of names with the people, not everyone, just because I can't. It's hard to do a 5-hour show, and I wish I could give more credit where credit is due, but
you did a great job. Stop it.
It's one of those things that we just don't know. We look at the comics and say amazing art, amazing, but the inkers, the colorists, the letterers, I mean, they all have a point, and a lot of these people got let go, and it's unfortunate, and I hope they land on their feet. But you know, it puts a cloud over fandom next week,
right?
And it's unfortunate, and I think there's never a good time for this, but if you wanted more positive marketing, more positive spin for this, gosh, I don't know what they were thinking at that point with any of these layoffs, doing it now.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest surprise with it, is the timing of it. And, you know, as a person who subscribes to the DC Universe app, if it goes to just straight digital comics, I'll probably still end up subscribing to it, even though I don't read as many digital comics as I want to. I need to start going down that route because, like you said, Chris, I'm about 25 minutes away. I have about 3 or 4 comic book shops within about 20 to 40 minutes away from me. So I can go to a few of them, but writing out there, you're right, is difficult. I am a collector. I like to collect things, but I can go online now, and if I keep the DC Universe app, and I feel like they should drop the price. I think we were talking about a price.
Oh yeah, I think that's
$5 a month, you know, if they're going to do that. And I would keep it, and I would read the books I wanted to, and then if I want to go buy it, then hey, I'll go buy, you know, first edition copies of this or a trade paperback of this. But I want to get more into digital comic reading, and it's funny because you're saying it's almost like they're using it in the reverse order. You would think that the book would come out on paper, become popular as people buying the actual physical copies, and then would become popular enough to people to want to buy the digital copy or read the digital copy. But it sounds like the digital copy is actually kind of setting up for people to want to buy. Buddy. Yeah, setting up for people to want to buy the hard copies of it.
Well, you got more.
Kids don't want to touch anything but a screen. Ew, yeah, I can't. I gotta read it back. Ew.
Well, it's again, you have more. Again, you can. It's not the best thing to read, but occasionally I'll read it on my phone. I don't try to, but if I'm just needing some time, if you know, just sitting down and wanting to just read an issue at that point, if something. I mean, I've done the opposite where I've read some stuff on DC Universe. You know what? I want to hold on to that. I want to, you know, even though I have the app. Get it, you know, it's tough because I think, you know, Jim Lee had said like this has been the really most difficult time of his career at that point.
I believe
but also it was his birthday, I think either Monday or Tuesday this week too, that he's having to deal with it. I mean, you know, it's like, you know, he's trying to plan this big event, things like that, and all this happens. I mean, it's not saying a birthday is secondary compared to whatever, but it's just like, again, a tough week for a lot of people, tough week for him. He's been friends. These are family members to him. and like I said, this was across the board. We're to mediate, you know, DC. It's
bullshit.
Layoffs are part of the business. I get it. but and again, I hope a lot of these people land on their feet. They did say, I think, those that are based out of California, I think they basically have 90 days. Like they'll be employed for 90 days at that point because there's a law in the books over there that they can't just like kick you out without that. So some of them will be in DC. I think specifically is now based out of Burbank.
The Marvel will pick some of these cats up if they're looking to expand, and IDW will definitely take in some new, fresh talent to help beef up and expand their library. And you could even get the rise of another smaller, upstart company again to get, you very well could again have something like that, because that's a lot of people that are, like you said, that did it for a lot of years with a lot of talent that goes, we know how to do this. You know what I mean? If I know how to work with the right people, it could actually, in the long run, it could potentially be good for the business.
That's why these
but
people
right
are
now,
smarter than us.
it sucks.
I do got to say, just talking about all this Jim Lee, that Jim Lee Catwoman over your shoulder right there, man, just is absolutely amazing. Like, I love it. It's like on one side of your shoulder, I see Catwoman. On the other side of your shoulder, I see Batman. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. Perfect setup.
And you know what this is from?
What's that?
What you and Sarah need to read. Hush.
Seen the movie. Haven't read it yet.
This is known as the hero shot. There's a counter to it called the villains at that point. But this is my favorite, one of my most prized posters at that point. Framed above it.
I love Jim Lee's art.
I do too.
Statue
Favorite
collections back there. So
Jim Lee kills it on the art. Yes. I'm actually looking. I was gonna get one of his the Wildcats trade. Remember when he did Wildcat back in the '90s? Just because it's Jim Lee, and even back then, like, man, he's got that certain flair.
Dude, I just
phenomenal.
Got in the mail the Claremont Jim Lee X-Men omnibuses, the volumes when he did with X-Men #1, but that was part of it. Man, God, nothing beats that.
No, he's like, it doesn't matter who he's drawing. Like, it's just
amazing.
It's always perfect, man. It's
amazing.
Perfect.
I agree. Well, let's see. One more news topic. I know Fandome comes out next week. They came out with a timeline today, right? That's when we got the timeline.
Yep. Yes.
And that's sitting here looking at it. Chris, you pointed out a error in the timeline, and it's been since been corrected, correct?
Yes. Yeah. There was the big thing. I know there are obviously competing panels going on at the same time, but I think the quote unquote heroes as they put it, like the heroes portion of it, is all supposed to be. You finish one, you may get a 5-minute break and go to the next one. Like, I think it's now called the Snyder Cut of Justice League is slated for 25 minutes. And during that 25 minutes, Black Adam was going on like within the middle of it. And then they fixed it. And now I think the Black Adam got cut a little bit in time to make sure that, and it probably was an original error. A lot of people saying, "Oh, they slided the Rock." I think it was a mistake to begin with. So,
The Rock don't give a shit. He'll share whatever time. He's not trying to big shot nobody.
Right. He's the highest paid actor in the world.
He'll be like, give him my whole time. I'll come out for 45 fucking seconds and I'll own this place, bitches.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He doesn't care.
We do have we have an unknown panel. We have a to be announced panel.
To be announced. That's what I was going to ask. Yep.
Yeah,
that's
a new movie. You guys, what you don't know, it's going to be an amalgam universe movie with Marvel and DC.
There you go.
It's an animated movie. They're going to I'm calling it.
I think this is interesting getting the timeline because it's going from 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, which is fantastic because I get up at 12:30 that day, so I'll be able to check the whole thing out as it goes.
Oh, there's more going on, man.
Oh, yeah,
that's just like their Hall H stuff. Like there's a whole other panel that's of the TV shows, comics, things like that. I know there's one comic panel for their quote unquote Hall H, but there's some other stuff going on that is not quote unquote on our schedule, but
I saw a couple of things on there too.
This is a straight 24-hour event. People say, I'll watch it later on YouTube. Yes, some people are going to try to record it illegally and try to put it on there. I'll be very impressed if WB doesn't start coming after and shutting down after. So that will probably happen, but they will show a number of things at least twice. The Hall H stuff, I think they're showing 3 times in the 24 hours, but after that, it's done.
So if you don't see it in this 24 hours, you ain't seeing it.
Unless you jump on YouTube and release it. They're very adamant they're not going to. They're making it their own version of SDCC is like So that's what I'm saying. If people are going to record it and post it, I guarantee you it's going to be a very short-lived before they get flagged by YouTube.
Okay.
I'm curious to see the animation panel because DC always kills it in animation. I'm curious to see what they're doing movie-wise. If they are going to do another universe, if they're just going to start adapting. If they go, hey, we're going to go on a little couple year stretch where we're going to do a 2-part The Long Halloween, but it's going to be an hour-and-a-half movie, or you know what I mean, like where they just. Like kind of like they did before when they just had shit and if they randomly connected, they did. Or if they're gonna go, you know what, we really like the universe model, we're gonna make another one. And I'm curious to see if we're gonna. I would imagine that we're gonna get the first kind of trailer for Young Justice season 4 and that animation thing. You know what I mean? Because it's been long enough, and they'll say HBO Max instead of DC Universe.
They're doing a read along with the cast, and they did call out in the end of the synopsis that there would be a discussion about what's coming next season.
Okay.
So
I'll take that even.
Yeah, that was specifically mentioned in the summary that there would be discussions of next season.
And I wonder, there's been so much. I know Travis Hines there's been so much can we get a reunion of Justice League or whatever? And the whole cast has said it.
They want to.
I would not be surprised if maybe not a full season, but if they said, all right, Bruce Timm, the cast, Andrea Romano said she would come out of retirement to direct these guys in the voice. You know what I mean? Oh. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we didn't get a 5 or 6, even if they're just little half hour, or you know what I mean, maybe a little something's announced.
Well, we talked about that in Marvel Alliance from the X-Men side. X-Men,
I know
that they've had discussions with Disney. So it's all these people want to do something. Could be it's not necessarily looks like on the panel, but I would love that too. Love that.
Well,
show.
I'm just saying, I think they're gonna.
It would be great.
I'm not saying that that's gonna be the biggest thing, but I mean, if we're throwing stuff out there, I think they're gonna give us their plan of these movies, and I'm just hoping they announce a new maybe they go ta-da, we got you. You know what I mean? Here, we'll give you this. And I'm just assuming, like you said, there's Young Justice going to be there. They're going to show us footage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, and I know the next day their new movie from the DC animated, the new Superman movie comes out on Sunday digitally. Mm-hmm. So,
which we will be covering as a Patreon episode for superhero discussions. So if y'all want to hop on that, let me know. We're going to cover it probably a couple days after it comes out. So hit us up. We will be covering that one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an interesting.
Sarah, you're awfully quiet.
Yeah. Did you see
I just along for the ride.
I hear you. Sarah's ready to talk about some Transformers and some Doom Patrol and Stargirl, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking over the Fandome stuff, and I was just trying to figure out what parts I want to see.
Snyder.
Wonder Woman.
I hear you.
Yes, that leads the pack.
Yes. 1 o'clock. Good.
No, go for it.
I was say I'm interested to see everything on there. I really am. But if I have to choose, I just want to see the Zack Snyder Justice League stuff coming out, and I'll be okay if that's all I get to see. Even though hopefully I get to cover all of it as it goes on. If that's all I get to see, I'll live with that.
Greg, I'm going to agree with you, but I'm really hoping to catch the Wonder Woman 84 stuff. Because I want to see that first look at Cheetah, or a little more of something. I don't know. I'm just show me Diana kicking some more ass or something. Let's go.
I mean, I want to see Reeves as Batman.
Yes.
That ends that Hall H event. At that point, you got Wonder Woman starting the event. You got Zack Snyder in the middle, Snyder Cut, and then you got Suicide Squad in the middle, and then you end it with the Batman. I forgot.
I'm not as excited for James Gunn. It's gonna be. I don't know. I love the first Guardians. I guess I should be more excited. I should be more because he's not a bad guy. All right, I'm trying to get more hype for it, but. Right now, I'm just not super hyped. I really want to see.
They've kept a lot of that stuff under wraps. I'm very impressed. Far what they've kept.
Actually, me too.
I'm kind of the same way with you, Nathan. I'm not excited for it at all, but that doesn't mean that I can't see something that's going to make me be like, "Oh my gosh, I got to see this!"
Yes,
or "Oh, I'm super excited." I just haven't seen anything yet that excites me. But I imagine that when I see something, I'll probably end up loving it.
Because I do love the very first Guardians movie. That's excellent. I like. He wrote the movie, the Dawn of the Dead remake that Zack Snyder filmed.
Mm-hmm.
Brightburn, I caught pieces of that, and that was actually pretty
good.
It was actually, from what I saw of it, it was really good.
That's
honestly,
the evil Superman.
I like him as a thing, and I don't want to judge it. I don't want to judge him on
basically.
everything. You know what I mean? I don't want to judge him just off of basically how it's not his fault that his movie changed the direction of Marvel, and they went, "Yep, we want more shit like Guardians." And then he went a little too gun in number 2, whatever. I like his style, so like I should be more excited for it, but I'm just not. And I don't know why.
I mean, to your point, a lot of people just say, "Oh, he's going to bring it's going to be Guardians like Suicide Squad." Okay, I mean, let's give him a shot just because that's his superhero movie that we all know him for, but it's just and I think we can understand the fact that he appreciates and respects these characters, that he is willing to change his pathway in doing them. Again, it's just let's wait and see and make judgment when the movie actually comes out in about like 3, 4, or 5 years.
And that's kind of his wheelhouse too. I mean, if you really look at it, Suicide Squad and Guardians are virtually the same type of movie. It's that off movie of characters that people aren't as well familiar with. That's supposed to have a little bit more comic relief in it.
Band of misfits.
So I mean, it's kind of the same type of movie. So I mean, I imagine he could do really well. Like I said, I love the first Guardians. Can't say the second for the same, but I love the first Guardians. So yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what happens with it.
Yeah.
You know. All right.
Well, I'm just kind of sad that they didn't get Will Smith back, because I feel like the 3 principal members, well, technically 4 members that you always got to have in the squad is number 1 is Amanda Waller, because she's always got to be the button pusher. I feel like you got to have Floyd, Deadshot. I don't care if it's the Will Smith version, if it's Emmett, whatever. You got to have Boomerang. You got to have Boomerang to play off of Floyd, and then you got to have Harley. And that's your 4. You got to have that, but we're missing that character right now. And I know they're going to probably try to fill that with. Man, have they said who Idris Elba's playing?
I know
it was Bronze Tiger, right?
Pretty much determined to be
good.
Tiger.
Like, good. That's what, because I really liked him in, what was the Suicide Squad movie in the
Hell to Pay.
Hell to Pay. Yeah, I really liked that goddamn characterization in there, and he played it off well. So if you can give me that, and like I said, I just feel like Boomerang's an essential Digger or George or however, whichever version you go by. Like I really, and you got to have Harley, because those 3, no matter what, I don't know how those 3 guys like. Boomerang is a grimy bastard. Somehow he survives every time. And you got
the Aussie in him.
Lawton's the leader who makes sure people get through it. And Harley is just too goddamn crazy to die. So like I just, you know what I mean? Like it's usually everybody else gets wiped out. Somehow those 3 go, and I know a lot of
they wanted
animated, but yeah.
They wanted Will. It's just with a scheduling problem, so they haven't said they want Deadshot to come back. But the rumor was Idris is taking over. Well, that's not happening. Will wants to come back and wants to do the character. So again,
Idris Elba is a fantastic fucking actor. I will take him. Like
I want him to be the next Bond.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I will take it.
Yep.
The guy's that smooth talking son of a bitch and that silky voice. So like, man, he could do it. You know what I mean? He could do it. But no, I agree. Like I think he's gonna play good, but I just those are just my essentials, and they got 3 of the 4, so
75% still passing.
That's a really good batting average or shooting percentage. So yeah, I'll give you that. All right, cool. Well, we're looking forward to it next week. I know Fandome next Saturday starts out. We're going to be covering it on Geek Ultimate Alliance. Me, Chris, Travis,
and Geekverse, right?
Geekverse, yeah. We're going to be tag teaming this.
Jump in or not? I'm going to try.
I hear you.
I'm just giving you a warning now.
Sarah, I don't know if you're going to jump in or not, but we're going to be doing
if I get to watch
coverage,
the Zack Snyder thing and that's all I get to do, I'll be happy as I'll be.
I've got the invitation, so I might pop in.
I hear you. Of course. But check us out, both networks, Geekverse and Geek Ultimate Alliance. We're going to be covering this stuff on a bevy of different shows. It's going to be really fun, lots of hosts. It's going to be a really fun time. Next Saturday, we're all super excited for it. So,
and Mr. Snell has worked out everything in the sense of the schedule. That should be coming soon. He sent me
a nice email. I was like, look at this organized son of a bitch.
He has been begging for this schedule, and I keep telling him. I said it's because of you. We've got it today. It's because of your DC issues.
That's right. But that's about all the news or the major news stuff we got to talk about. So we got a couple shows to cover. Y'all want to go ahead and just hop into the last few shows? Couple kind of old. Well, actually, they're all about a week and a half.
Hey, Sarah, you pick which one you want to go for.
Yeah, Sarah.
Yes, Sarah. Where are we going? You know what shows we're talking about?
I want to save Stargirl for last. I want to save Stargirl.
I was hoping you were going to save Stargirl for last. Okay.
So Transformers or Doom Patrol?
Because I listened to DC Alliance and
me too.
Got some thoughts.
Oh, okay.
Y'all discussions.
Yeah, Travis, where you at? We need you on here too.
But let's talk Doom Patrol.
Okay. Start us off with Doom Patrol. Then my dogs are scratching the door. I gotta go let them out. Get us going, and then I'll hop right back.
Go karate chop them dogs.
What was the last episode? What was it? Wax Patrol?
Wax Patrol.
Wax on.
Yeah, wax off.
That,
No.
just to kind of piggyback on, because like I said, I finally did listen to DC Alliance, and they were discussing, Travis and Greg were discussing that, and I will give Doom Patrol a pass as well, because yes, I really wish we had that last episode.
Oh, me too.
Because it ended, and I'm just sitting there like,
you son of a bitches.
Yeah.
What? Oh,
and
okay.
We would have gotten so much more information. Than that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We had a whole hour left of information.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, it was just, Dorothy throughout this season has just, some days, some episodes you're like, okay, well, you see her as this child that, oh my
some
gosh,
you love her, some you want to punch her.
Yeah, exactly. You're just, oh my gosh. It's just
yeah.
It's like a typical child.
Sure.
But then, like the episode before, when she kind of came into her womanhood, shall we say, that was kind of
gross.
That was. Yeah.
Right.
Then they're done
it
that.
Happens. I know it happens. I get it.
But I thought it was interesting with in this last episode when you saw her mom, trying to give her these boots. And I'm like, why is she trying to
the whole season?
Yeah, but then I'm thinking this is probably kind of like a rite of passage to where, you give these, and I just thought it was funny they were red, to be honest with you. But
they're done on purpose.
It's like you take these boots and you wear them, you assume them, and then you kind of Nathan. So then basically, you're kind of going through your, you're hitting your womanhood and all this kind of thing. But man, that weapon she pulled out. Oh, I was like, whoa.
I like
so
that.
she is not playing.
I make my own. I'm like, yeah.
She is not playing.
She's like, fucking, she just went all metal on him. She's like, I make my own weapons.
Yeah.
But what about
she
the
grew up
imaginary
instantly.
friends? Oh my gosh. I'm thinking, man, y'all had some weird imaginary friends.
The Punch and Judy puppet. Yeah. That was pretty good.
All right, Kung Fu Jesus was like some of the best shit that I was not expecting. My wife Jamie was with me as that part came on, and she goes, "What are you watching?" And
Did he just say tough what?
I said,
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know. I said, I honestly don't know, but I love it.
Jesus
But at the very
says fuck
end-
you in this. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, at the very
tells
end,
you.
Cliff's like, dude, I was like 6. He's like, oh, okay. Like, that just explained everything. Like, dude, I was a kid. What else do you want to do?
But it totally fit with who Cliff is at that point. Of course,
Yeah.
it's going to be like a rough talking Jesus.
Wow. Well, I got to say that I wasn't as impressed with the ending of Doom Patrol, and I give it a pass because I know that it was not the way it was supposed to end. They had cut short an episode. I get that, and they had to adjust things, and for what they had to work with, I think they did a good job. But the episode was kind of boring. It really was. Like, there was no action in it, really.
Whatever. Did you not see the orgy?
Well, oh yeah.
Did we not see the swinging? Okay.
There was definitely that part of it. Yeah,
that was your highlight. Okay.
But I don't know. I was watching it and I was like, once again, I give it a pass because I know that they didn't get to do what they wanted to do. And I'm sure that if they had the time to do the next episode, put it in there, it would have been fantastic. I just was disappointed with the way it ended, but I understand their hands were tied. I just hope they open up well next season and wrap this story up,
And it's definitely not they didn't stick the landing, but it wasn't like a Titan situation where they at that point, I still think I still think this is obviously a better ending than what Titans has.
Are we all in
done
agreement
yet.
that Titans is on the chopping block? Like, if they don't nail this, then seriously, are we in agreement?
I don't think so.
Like HBO.
I don't think it's on the
think so.
chopping block. I just think that
if they don't nail this one again, I
From
think
a fan perspective, I think so. It's
I
like,
think
come
that's
on,
it.
guys.
I think it's on the chopping block. I don't think you get a third chance. I think it's literally 3 strikes and you're out because, man, season 2 was fucking great until that end and Deathstroke's beaten in a nanosecond and they kill Wonder Girl.
But
Wonder Girl
but-
by
but electricity,
electrocuting her.
yeah, I
Like,
know.
come on, what do we do? And Superboy just like stands there with his thumb up his own ass.
But
Like
see,
nothing. Like, come on, they
that's-
effed it. They effed it. They know they did. They terrible. Deathstroke should have come in there and karate kick 3 of these guys out of there just to show his dominance.
Oh.
And you know what I mean?
But no, I agree with Chris. I don't think they're on the chopping block because, like you said, the entire season was great. It was just the ending, and it's been like that with season 1 too. The entire season was great.
Too, yes.
It's just the ending was messed. So I don't think that
Well,
they're
it
going to
wasn't
cancel
even the
the
right
show.
ending.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
wasn't even the right
Well,
ending.
That's what I'm saying.
season 1 was a messed up thing,
Yeah.
but they snapped through Trigon too. Like they really fucked up on that too. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna be honest. They wasted Trigon.
but here's
Like,
the
he
thing.
came in and was
But
gone.
here's the thing. They had a villain problem in season 1. All right?
Mhm.
They fixed the villain problem until the end of season 2.
So,
So
now maybe we'll
third
have a
time, do we
perfect
have
season.
all the recipes together to finally get this done?
I think so.
This
I think
is true.
so.
But
This
what
is
I
very
wanted to
true.
say about Doom Patrol, you're right. It wasn't necessarily the most action filled at that point. A lot of character thing. I found the most fascinating stuff was Miranda, that whole storyline.
Yes.
Because it's not Miranda. I don't know who the heck it is.
Can I-
Right? It's not
Can I ask a
Miranda.
question?
Yeah.
How does a personality that's in a well, how does it decay down there in the water, you know, with just the necklace underneath the sand there that Jane shot? How does that happen? Does it just like straight up and get all struggle? Shouldn't it just like disappear when it died?
Well, the other 2 bodies were down there, right? The ones that were
Yeah.
killed by Candlemaker, they were in the well. And
Maybe
they were
she
dying.
can mouth
to
to
decay.
mouth them.
I mean, there was a lot of mouth to mouth going on in this episode.
There was a lot of other mouth.
Mouth to other points of body in this episode. Yes,
Oh,
but
yeah.
But I loved the impetus of Jane. Like we got to see the birth of Jane, the personality.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
pretty intense way to bring her out. The show kind of took a crazy turn during her little storyline because there's kind of
her shit's been dark.
right. Well, there's basically two
Come
main
on.
plot lines running through this last couple episodes, and that's what's happening with Jane and what's happening with everybody else. You know,
I want to ask.
say it.
Do we think with the Miranda? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
Before with the Miranda, do we think that the Candlemaker, like, because that she didn't come back until after the Candlemaker was inside her, after Dorothy did whatever? Do we think that it's like a product of the Candlemaker?
I've heard that. I've also heard it's the father.
Yeah.
How would he get in
That's
there, though?
Travis's
It
theory.
sounded
is
more
the
like
father.
her father.
That she created her father in woman form? Like, what are we talking about?
Well,
Why
I
would
mean,
she give her father a personality?
It's almost like it's that dark thing that had this happen.
Sure.
She created the personalities as a result. So there's always a part. Like remember, she fought a visual of the dad in season 1.
Yes,
So
yes.
there could be a part of that has survived.
Okay.
Like they
I
didn't
see.
take
I
it
see
out
what you're
totally.
saying.
So
And it
so
manifested in the underground.
yeah.
Yeah, the mind's
like,
fractured. You never know where it's
and-
going to break
Yep.
at. So.
And
That's
reanimated itself by using one of the bodies, in this case, Miranda.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting point to put in there. Like the Miranda story is the thing that's confused me the most about what's going on. But if you just kind of
Me
sit down,
fucking too.
you sit down and think about it for a minute, it kind of makes sense. But it's one of those things
No,
that
it
I have to
doesn't.
sit down and think about. You know,
Like
like
Crazy Jane.
I didn't understand the Jane going in the well and Miranda coming back up, but Travis explained to me that like the next scene was in the underground mine
Yes.
part well, and then
Yes,
what
yes,
Larry
yes,
actually
yes.
brought back up was Jane's body, but Miranda's
As
personality
Miranda.
as Miranda. Yeah, so he actually pulled her out of the well. They didn't show that, so it kind of
No.
for me it was kind of weird, but they explained it at least. Or at least Larry does in this episode, where he's like, "Yeah, I pulled her out of the well," type thing. And I left out.
Let's talk-
Good.
I said, let's talk about Larry.
Yeah, let's talk about Larry.
Larry Bear. How
You
does
know-
he get? What happens to him?
Taking
think he's-
control. Taking
he's-
control.
No. Well, how does he get waxed up? There's no imaginary friend. The negative spirit doesn't come through the wax. Like he just looks at Kipley all waxed up and he goes, "Oh," and just on the ground looks like he got candle spooged on.
Well, for the entire season, I was hoping a lot more out of Larry's character.
Mhm.
And I know, as Mr. Nego, I've read and loved the Grant Morrison run, but it's just like that character needs to have a major shift. I'm not saying he has to have a happy ending. That's not the point of the character, but
Yeah.
we've beaten him down to a point that there needs to be
Yes.
a little bit of success. I know we got a little bit of that this season, but I don't want a happy ending, but we need to stop beating this drum with Larry. I think we've gotten to the point. I think we've exhausted everything of his past and things like that, and now
When
he
Larry's
needs to start
saying, "What the
taking
fuck?"
control.
When Larry's screaming, "What the fuck?" We know he's come to his wit's end. Okay,
he's to that breaking point now.
Yeah,
He's
it's
like,
it's
I'm
over.
done.
When he's agreeing with Cliff and he's what the F and just all the time, like, whoa, we gotta get Larry a break.
The one episode where what was the astronauts or whatever they were.
Yeah, Space
So
Patrol.
when you saw her and she had basically become one with her, the negative spirit within her, they became.
It healed her.
I just don't think Larry's ready to give up who he is.
He's not, and that's the problem.
The main,
Well,
so he can see what he can be.
Well, I think that's what the negative spirit's doing, is trying to help him reconcile with that. Mm-hmm. Like you're saying, Sarah, I think with his past that he's holding on to, I think he's trying to get it to reconcile so they can, exactly like you're saying, become one like that space lady was.
But think about how long did it take him to realize who he was before the negative
That's
spirit.
very true.
So think about that turmoil he had to go through with that. So now
trying
to come to grips with that, and now you're trying to come to the grips where I have this thing living in me. And
but the other problem is, like you say, reconcile. Okay, I think we can only point to him slightly personally, and then his lover. The rest of the stuff is blown up in his face left and right. It's almost like there's nothing left to reconcile. He has no one left. He is literally alone outside of the Doom Patrol. Mm-hmm. He is completely alone.
But that's still getting reconciled. Like that stuff was obviously on his mind. You know what I mean? Like
it was. You're right.
He knows where it stands now.
Yeah, and two things.
He was able to speak his piece.
Right. And two things about this episode. He does realize that because when Cliff's talking about he has to go save his family, like Larry asked him, he's like, "Well, what are we?" You know, he understands they're his family. And two, I don't think they're ever going although that would be a cool story to work towards with Larry learning to become one with the negative spirit, like the space lady was.
They'll never do it.
I don't think they'll ever do it because you're not going to get rid of that iconic look. You're not going to have Matt Bomber in there just to be Larry, like period. You know. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you could. I mean, I'm sure it worked, but why get rid of that look?
I just think that's always going to be part of his character flaw, though. He's always going to want to be. Sure. There's always going to be that conflict there, and I don't think he's ever going to get over it.
You're right.
Honestly.
Maybe in the series finale, you'll see him obtain that, to where you see maybe the last few snes are just him without bandages, But
I'm with you. I don't want that at all.
You never know. I don't think it's a good way to go,
I agree.
So, anything else? Doom Patrol? Like I said, it was kind of...
Well, how about looking at this whole, what was your all's favorite season or moment?
This season for me,
this season,
it was
either episode or moment.
The best thing for me this moment was Cliff actually bonding with his daughter and getting to know his daughter and having that back.
Yes,
it looks like moving forward, they're going to be friends. They're going to be a father-daughter type relationship. He's accepted where she's going. She's accepted where he's at. I think that's probably my favorite part of where this season went. I wanted to see that really bad.
Yeah, I agree.
I think my favorite part was just that they kept riding with the weirdness and stuff that I would never expect to like Cliff literally having a grudge match with rats and talking about how he delivered their babies just so he can feed them and they're literally in a blood feud and stuff. God. Yeah. And it was just a great season. You just never know where it's going. Like I said, the candle makers, there's this weird guy that she keep it inside. What are we talking about? You know what I mean? It's so crazy.
How do you want to just cover the whole world in wax? I mean, what exactly is what's the purpose?
So I'm just glad that they kept it. My favorite thing is that they kept it weird and they kept me going. Didn't see that coming. You know what I mean? That's what my favorite part of it is.
Sex Patrol definitely was a.
Sex Patrol, episode. Literally the sex demons where they're just all banging around. I'm like, what is happening?
And now there's one at the house.
Like that they kept it going, especially with the one time where they're calling the house and there they are in the background. It's like. Okay, this wait a minute. Okay, this is gonna be a thing. This is just what we're gonna have in the house now. Okay.
Yes, that's their Slimer. Okay. Oh, damn it.
That's a double pun. Gosh darn it.
Darn it.
But yeah, great season. Like I said, the ending was kind of fell flat, but it's not their fault. I think that they had the opportunity to do it the way they wanted to.
We were supposed to get another hour worth of filming. You know what I mean?
It does not deter me away from watching the next season. I definitely think that it's going to come back strong, and I'm excited to see what happens. But I mean, it's Doom Patrol. We know where it's coming back on HBO Max, so it might be a little bit more amped up than it already is. Crazy enough.
No premiere date yet, so it'll be a while.
Sure, we'll get something.
Okay, more Sex Patrol. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we said we wanted to save Stargirl for last. So Nathan, I know that we were talking about doing Transformers last week, even though we didn't do a show. We said no. We got to hold Transformers off for Nathan to get here. So I'm gonna start you off with this one, man. Get us going with Transformers. I watched all 6 episodes before we got on.
Me too.
Okay, good.
Not before we got on, like 2 weeks ago, a week ago. I don't know. Whenever Sarah told me they would remind me they were on there, I made sure that I watched it.
It was like a Thursday. It was like a Thursday.
Yeah.
We sat down and like watched all 6 of them. Right then, I was like, okay, keep going.
Like, first of all, like, the guy that does Optimus' voice is doing his best Peter Cullen impersonation, but you can tell it's not him. And the guy that's doing Megatron, though, he's pretty close to the original guy. I mean, like, that one, he's pretty damn close.
But those lips, those luscious lips.
I like the character design.
Mwah.
I don't like Starscream, and I don't like the other way the jets fold up into, like, little... weird jets.
Or something.
Yeah, like what is that? But
I don't know.
But it's so
Out
far.
of
Like,
Galaga.
I like how they all got a little bit of damage and they're going like. I don't know. I really liked it. Like, man, Megatron's just kicking some ass, man. Like, he has just whooped the Autobots down to nothing. The fan in me, like the mega nuclear fan in me, like when I saw the arc taking off or whatever, Teletron. What is it? They call it the arc. I really wanted that to go through a wormhole, and I wanted to come out on Earth back in the prehistoric age, and then we have Beast Wars show up.
It's coming.
Where they're sleeping in there, and the next one's Beast Wars, and then like that, Optimus Primal finds them and wakes them up, and then in the third trilogy they all work together. But
it's coming.
That's not gonna happen. But that's what I really wanted.
It's coming.
There's 2 more, so.
Yep.
Man, but I enjoyed it. I thought they did a good job. I liked how Bumblebee was kind of like the reluctant, like, I'm not doing this shit until he gets hit with the thing. I like how they brought the Guardians in, and they were just like these.
God, that was so cool, that last part. Oh.
Wow, like,
that was
holy
nice.
Shit. They hurt. I don't know. Go ahead. No, I'm just rambling.
No, you're good. I just watched this. I literally finished it about 5 minutes before we got on the show. Finished the 6th episode. Really, really enjoyed it. The animation was great. I love the style, the design, the look. Of course, Transformers, anything you put on there is going to be fun. There were a couple quarrels I had with this. I did not like Megatron's look. Don't know why. Just didn't fit well. It didn't look.
The lips.
Huh?
I'm telling you, it's the lips.
It didn't look menacing for me. Yeah, like I don't know what it was. And there are a couple of plot points that I'm going to get into whenever we start talking about this, that I didn't really understand.
Hey, go for it.
Okay,
we're in it.
What do you got? Go ahead.
Well,
Aaron,
we're going full spoilers with this right here. So,
for the rest of us.
What's the guy's name? The Decepticon that changes over to be an Autobot? Jetstream. Okay, he changes over.
Wait a minute, Jetstream or Impact?
No, Impact was the one who got destroyed.
No, the real chivalrous guy. The real chivalrous
Jetstream
changed at the end.
Jetfire, wasn't it?
It could be Jetfire. I'm not sure. It's Jet something. I know that. But anyway, he switches over to be from Decepticons to Autobots for a good reason, because basically, Megatron is gonna try to commit genocide. Is basically the point. He's gonna kill everybody.
Yeah, he's honorable.
So he goes to the Autobots. The Autobots are taking the Allspark off the planet, which is going to almost kill. It was going to kill everybody. So you're leaving one team who wants to kill everybody to join another team who is doing something that wants to kill everybody. That's
Megatron propaganda. Stop spreading that.
Well,
that was the lore, right?
Well, they did say if the legend is true,
religion,
that is what happened. So we don't know, and in the way it ends. It doesn't look like Cybertron explodes or anything like that, so we don't know.
Right.
What if they go the Beast Machines route and it's organic Cybertron?
You're really pushing Beast Wars.
You should, because Beast Wars is great. Loved it.
I'll fully admit it's one of my least favorite Transformers versions.
Beast Wars?
I just didn't know the animation style just really bugged me out. It just as a kid, I like the stories. It's just the animation bugged me out. I wasn't a fan of the animation.
I'm a fan of them taking the exact same scripts. I mean, just polishing them up a little bit and redoing the animation to give me the exact same.
Then you'll be fine, because I like the stories.
Like I said, polish this for word, same shots, script or whatever. Just update it. Let me have it.
Yeah, they might. You never know.
No,
so that was where my confusion was with this.
They
so
hate me.
I knew when it came out they were talking about a trilogy, and then I thought that it was going to be 3 movies coming out at once. Didn't realize it was going to be 6 episodes that was 1 movie. Didn't even realize that till yesterday when I was talking about it.
I know, you kept on saying the movies. What are you talking about?
Once again, Nathan, you tell me. It just, I don't know why. I have a hard time listening. I'm not a very good listener.
I know nobody listens.
So it
to me,
looks
I
like
get it.
basically every movie is going to be a 6-part, 20-minute episode, something like that,
Yes.
24-minute episode thing.
Yes.
It was 23 minutes.
23,
I
24,
think.
something like that.
Yeah,
right.
22, 30, yeah,
So-
something like that. Yeah.
The last episode was the shortest of them all.
Yeah,
I think
it was.
20
And the
minutes.
most happened in that episode too. That was
Yeah.
definitely the most exciting episode. The other episodes I could kind of play it and listen to it and watch it and like do other stuff while I'm doing it because I got to take care of kids and everything. That one I couldn't pull myself away from. The final episode, I don't know why, from the beginning to the end, it was just great. I loved it.
Well, Chris, did you notice that it's in the same style? Like I was telling you about that.
Mhm.
That the company that went out of here, the YouTube, and it's FJ DeSanto, like the runner, and he was the one that did that YouTube. And like I said, Netflix saw it, and boom, and you can definitely see the character
Oh, yeah.
designs are a little
Well,
different, but it's in that same style and that same dramatic form, you know.
Well, it's good work. So I mean, it's not necessarily stealing it. It's just they recognized what they had. It just was not, didn't have the platform to,
Right.
Get
Just
it off
make
the
a new
ground.
story with that. Yeah, they already had the character model. Well, I mean, I don't know how that works or whatever, but you know what I mean. They already knew what they wanted in mind. They had it all in their mind, you know.
Yeah.
What is the partner of Optimus Prime in this? His name is
Ultra Magnus.
Ultra Magnus. Does he come back? Is he dead? Is he gone? You think?
I'll be pissed.
Be pissed
Well,
if
I
he's
think
gone.
they're trying to pit. Well, I think this was a nice way
He
to
looked pretty
promote.
dead.
What's her name? Alita. Is
Yeah.
it Alita?
His kind of
Because I
romance
think she's
interest.
Optimus's number 2 now, and like Ultra Magnus was that. But they gave him in there, and they gave him a noble death and shit. So I think that's a way to be like, Alita's in here, and like she's gonna fill the spot of Ultra Magnus.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, look, they didn't even have Bumblebee till the very end, and he's, we know him as like a real loyal soldier to Optimus.
Yeah, and he was like super reluctant too.
He was
He's
kind of
like,
an asshole.
exactly.
"Yeah,
So
yeah,
like, I
I'm
think
an
not
asshole,
in.
yeah.
I'm not on either
their
side."
spin. Their
He gets
spin
more
on it,
he gets more profits by playing both sides.
He's the Han
Yeah,
Solo,
for sure.
right?
Yeah.
Very Han Solo.
I love all the Decepticons around Megatron, though. You know what I mean? Like he's got the same band of guys that he's always got. I really like that.
Starscream was
Like
true to
Optimus.
form.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I loved it. I loved it when all the other Decepticons were just like, "Oh my god, Starscream."
Yeah.
Like they think they can't stand.
When he
him.
got put in
Women
charge
do
of
the same.
the Seekers or whatever it was.
Yeah, what's his face said?
Yeah.
Totally undeserved.
Yeah, I loved who was the Decepticon that got his arm cut off at the beginning of I think it was the first episode, and I love they're talking to the Autobots, and he's like he says something about give you a hand, and he's like, you mean that hand right there, and points to the one on the ground, like, and then he gets punched in the face. Like, it was just a great joke, but it was totally worth it. They did a great job though, man. I really enjoyed
Me too.
the series. I'm interested to see what happens with the next, because I guess, like I said, it's got to be like 3 seasons, 3 movies. Two more
They're
left.
continuously working on it. This is just. I think they're taking like they did like the latter seasons of the Voltron Legendary Defender. Like the first one, they just put it out and it took them forever. But they got towards the end, they'd release like 6 episodes, but they kept working, so it didn't. It wasn't taking a year and a half or 2. It was only 6 months, 9 months, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I've got a feeling that they have obviously got their story in mind. They know it's a trilogy of these 6, basically like a 2-hour movie. You know what I mean? If you watch it all together without it. So I've got to imagine they've already know where they want to pivot the story.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
already working on it.
Oh yeah. And speaking of where they're going, what y'all think about the ending? I know there's kind of like a post credit scene or post credit scene, not post.
I already
post-credit
shot you
scene.
with my idea. Like
Yeah.
I told you what I want. I want him to go through a wormhole. I want it to go to Earth in the prehistoric age. I want Optimus Primal and his Megatron.
You have
find
to
it.
wait to the third one. I'm
Right.
telling you, it's the third
That's
one.
the Maximals and the Predacons go in there, and then they wake up Optimus, and then we fast forward to Earth times where they're here in the 90s and stuff, and they're bebopping, and they're like, the 80s and 90s and coming.
So let me ask you, this story
It's never
right
gonna
now is kind of a prequel to where the movie started out, the live action movie started out, correct? Like the war for Cybertron was what led them to Earth.
That's
after-
that's the animated series and everything. That's always what
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
been.
Okay, so
it's always
it's-
been the war for Cybertron and Optimus
is what starts everything off.
Optimus
Okay.
chasing.
Come on, watch
to
watch
Earth.
the true Transformers
Yeah.
animated movie.
It's-
Watch that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, that Well, but that takes place.
Watch
after
the
2
rated R
seasons of
version
the
where all they
animated
drop is
series.
the S word at that point. That's the PG or 13 is like
The S word.
what's his
Shit. That's the
Yeah, there
S
you
word? Okay. I was like, wait a second. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a cuss word to me, but it's me.
Because doesn't what's his face like that? Nathan, would you know that they had that quote unquote unrated one, and it's just like him cursing like 1,
Yeah.
2, or 3 times.
Yeah.
Might have to check that out. Have not got a chance to see it yet. But yeah, man, I really enjoyed this series. I'm trying to think of something else. Oh yeah, I was going to the end. It goes to the end and it looks like everything's off on the ship, and then the incoming unknown spaceship coming in.
It's the Predacons, I'm telling you. It's the Predacons. Yes,
that is a drum he will not stop beating.
I will beat it until whoever shows up proves me wrong.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. You know, do we have an idea of when the next 6-part is coming out?
My guess is next year.
So they haven't announced it yet.
No.
Okay.
Hopefully, beginning of next year.
Well, the thing is, we're still waiting to see. Master of the Universe, Kevin Smith's Master of the Universe. That's probably my guess is that's going to premiere before the next Transformers.
Okay, that'll be awesome. I can't wait to see that too. Okay, we're going to cover that here.
I'm curious to see how they do it though, because I didn't like the original synopsis, but I know it's changed up a little bit, and I'm not sure they changed the story, but like I'm very curious.
The big Masters of the Universe people involved in this, like the people who love and been beating this, like they are directly involved in this, so they're going to do it right.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think I'm definitely giving it a shot. I mean, come on, team, man.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Kevin Smith's going to do it wrong. I just, great guy to put on that.
Well, you got Mark Bernard in there.
Well, it's a continuation of where they kind of, it's a continuation. So that's kind of cool,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, y'all got anything else you want to say about Transformers? I know this is part 1 of 3 that we're looking at right now. We're going to cover the rest of it when it comes out, but we have no idea when it's happening right now. It could be months and months from now, but hopefully we'll still be going then and covering Transformers.
I get excited every time, like when I heard that Transformer sound effect when they transform. I was like, "Ooh, wow, 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 wow!"
Yeah, that used to be the message alert for my phone. Wow, wow, wow!
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I loved it.
Every kid remember that's just you know what that sound is. You know what I mean? It's an iconic sound. You go, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like you said, you can just hear it and you know what's happening. Oh,
my
Autobots are here.
My heart at that moment was like,
yeah. Sorry.
My heart at that moment was
yay!
It's like me when I heard Power Rangers, the theme song in the movie theater. Like you kind of want to pee yourself a little bit.
Just wait till you watch Ghostbusters 3 and then we see the Ecto-1 fucking transform.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely
gonna fall over.
I'm gonna prepare to pee myself.
Dude, they have a toy that's
transformed. It's the Ghostbusters showing up there. That's what the contact was at the end of Transformers. Sorry, I spoiled it. I spoiled it.
There is a Ghostbusters Transformer.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh, it's so awesome.
It looks cool.
Check it out. Oh, yeah. All right, cool. Well, we'll put that one to rest then. We don't know when the next one's coming out, but like I said, we're going to be covering when it does. And we got one more thing they're covering tonight. It's a fantastic show.
When's the Power Rangers coming out? We need. Speaking of that, Greg,
I have no idea.
Something good. They're aiming for.
Like you said, they need to just. I liked the new movie, but they need to scrap that. Go to James Vanderbeek, be like, "Hey, guy, your idea was great. Yeah. Let's make a movie about your thing. Let's make a rated R Power Rangers movie for the kids who grew up with it."
You don't need to go to James Vanderbeek. Go to the darn comics, the Shattered Grid. There you go. Boom.
I know.
Done.
James Vanderbeek already did the short movie.
Chris?
Yeah, Shattered Grid
but isn't it more young adult or whatever? Not kid centric.
I don't think
Shattered Grid.
I wouldn't go like full adult at that point. It's just like I wouldn't put it in a 9-year-old's hands.
No.
So it's for little teeny boppers then.
If you are, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like on face value, I just wouldn't.
I saw it all over your face, all that judgment.
Your judgment showing, dude. Come on, seriously.
I'll put it away here. Sorry, my judgment's showing.
But we got one more show to talk about, and that is the show that I've got to give Katie credit for getting us all started on, which is Stargirl. Would have not paid this show any attention, more than likely, had she not, wanted us to check it out for the episode, for the show. I hate she can't be here to talk about it, but we had the season finale last week.
End it now.
Yeah, definitely end it now. It's the best thing coming on CW, I'm sure, for a while. But I really enjoyed it. Had a great time. Some really good things to say about it. I know Sarah has some quarrels with some things I said about it on DC Alliance podcast, so I definitely want to hear that. But overall, I'll just get my overall thoughts. They stuck the landing, did great. There were, like I said, there were a couple things at the very end that I was like, I would have changed that, or I don't really like that. Wasn't enough to take me out of the show. Based on the way DC's been ending a lot of their television shows lately, they nailed it. So for me, what about you, Sarah?
I liked this episode. I really did, because I felt like it was a good culmination of the story, how everything came in to play. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the two things that you guys talked about.
Do it.
The whole thing with Wildcat, because that scene was really, because I caught what she caught as well, because you already knew that Brainwave, he left, so he already made the statement, I'm going to go find these kids and kill them. Okay, let's, whatever. So, and then when she has that battle, and you have all I just call them like putties, but anyways, it's just like mindless putties. And then you see
Putty Patrol.
Because I was kind of like with you guys too. I'm like, is Henry really dead? Because you didn't see a body. So I mean, I know how that goes as well. But I felt fairly confident he was done. I mean, that was the end of him. So when I saw him again, I was like you, Greg. I was like, oh, are you?
I have to admit to Chris, I was wrong.
No. But as soon as he said your friends, I said that's not him. I said that's Brainwave. That's him. But the way she lashed out at him, though, that kind of surprised me too. But because I'm like, oh, you've got a little bit. Even after the conversation she had with Rick, I said, oh, I've got a little vengeance here.
Yeah. And this is a great topic right here. Me and Travis were talking about this, and we disagree on this topic, and I wanted to ask this here, and I wish Travis seriously could kind of defend his side, but he's not, so he automatically loses, forfeit by default.
Yeah, lose.
But like, I feel like I get what people are saying. Like, her doing that is revenge, and it's maybe not necessarily right, but I feel like there's more to the story than that, because I feel like for me, Rick was going to be the guy who was going to stop at nothing and kill no matter what, whereas Yolanda was the one who was trying to talk him out of that. They both couldn't see each other's point of view. The fact they were both put in the opposite position, where Rick could have killed Grundy but didn't, and Yolanda didn't necessarily, I guess, have to kill Brainwave, even though she kind of had to kill Brainwave, realized that sometimes maybe you have to take a life to do the right thing. And I think it's them seeing it from the other point of view and realizing, because I don't have a problem with superheroes killing, and I have a big problem with people who are like, well, it's okay if Wonder Woman and Captain America and Iron Man all them kill, but this character and this character and this character can't kill. No, that doesn't work for me, because, and Travis's argument was, well, she's only 15. That's great, she's only 15, but she's still out there in the suit putting her life on the line. Doesn't matter how old you are. If this guy's trying to kill you, you have the fight or flight mentality. You're either going to fight and kill him, and it's the same justification we use for Zod's death in Superman. Sometimes you have to take that death. Zod said he would not stop until he won, until he had taken over the Earth. I'm sure Brainwave was the exact same way, for a guy who can control your mind and has already defeated you and a couple times this season, and the regular Justice Society, the JSA has defeated the real JSA that has more experience. This is a guy that needs to be killed right then and there, and if you have the opportunity, you take that kill shot. So for me, I don't mind it. I really don't. I
just never understood Brainwave. I mean, I understand Brainwave is using his power, but I never really understood his place after the fact, because I'm like, dude, if you want to have the world a better place, you're not the type of person that I want to have in my better place.
Oh, that manifesto was total BS. Are you kidding me? Like that was made. That's the religious script you give somebody to want you to follow their cult. And then once they join your cult and they've committed to you, then you realize once they have the hello and goodbye tattoo in their hands, then they're already in and they can't do anything about it.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I've had it all wrong.
But what'd y'all think, man? Chris?
I loved the idea of the show since I even heard about it, and the more and more got excited about it. And you're right, they stuck the landing. I'm glad that this episode was basically the all-out fight that we've been waiting for. Favorite parts, it was just nice how everything kind of came together, and definitely the hints towards what the future is going to be. I'm with you. We're wearing a sweater at one moment and cold, and then we jump in the.
What the hell is happening?
For that 4.5 minute long played out scene.
Yeah, like why was that
her
long?
We have some extra time just to kind of a filler.
They had extra money, is what it was. They were like, we have extra money in the budget. Let's make something special effects that looks good.
They were just boasting at that point. They're just like, look at us.
6 weeks weeks later. I mean, let's
We
reflect on
crushed
6
it.
weeks
Yeah.
later.
We crushed it. Let's celebrate.
I love the different pairings of the fights. I thought that was cool. Grundy, I expected what had happened. Yeah,
You mean Hulk, like younger, cooler Hulk? Like what's like?
I don't think it was. I definitely don't think it was younger, cooler Hulk. I think it was what they were able to do with
I
the budget.
know. And I didn't think,
Jack
I did
and the
not think it was
Beanstalk.
bad.
Jack and the Beanstalk, the latest movie. He looks like the Giants from Jack and the Beanstalk. That new Jack.
I'm just kidding.
Jack
I really didn't
And
think it looked bad.
I see what you're. I understand what you're saying. Is like they. Rick and Yolanda flipped the scripts on each other at that point, but that I believed it in the sense at that point is that when in the moment the person who says I'm going to kill, and they're seeing the moment and they're looking at the creature and he's realizing it's a mindless creature that whether controlled by brainwave or whatever at that point begging for his life, he suddenly has that realization. While Yolanda at the point, yes, I think she does truly believe you shouldn't kill. And then in her moment of that point, it just was, like you said, a flight or flight. I don't agree for just my own morals at that point, but I see the flip of the script at that point. So it's definitely believable in the sense of where she stood at that moment. It was a reaction.
And a
I don't know
badass way
if
of doing it too.
Oh yeah, no,
Claws to the throat.
totally at that point, but. I don't know. I know what Travis said. Like you see a dark turn for Yolanda. I am with him in the sense of we have an Iron Man 3 situation where we have to see some of them deal, particularly Yolanda, dealing with the ramifications of that. Because for her just to take a life, no matter 15, 30, 40 years old, if that's the first time you've ever taken a life, you talk to any soldier, and if you are having to take your first life at that point, that's some serious stuff that if you're never it goes without saying you're never the same, but particularly for her age at that point, they need to deal with that. Well, I think it would be a shame if I think that would be a serious detriment to the character if they don't. Well, but I don't see her taking a dark turn. I hope she doesn't.
Yeah.
Mike better have some therapy time too, since he just crushed Ice Guy in the truck and was all about it. Like, so he better be going to therapy too.
I've got a theory about Icicle. I've got a theory about that.
He's like T2.
Okay,
he's gonna meld back together.
That's what. Yeah, exactly. He's T2.
No.
Snowman.
Nothing to do with that. It kind of goes back
Wiener's
prior.
gonna be on his forehead. His arm's gonna be his leg. Damn it! I came back together
It
wrong.
kind of goes back to conversations you guys had because I felt like that him getting shattered like that was almost kind of like a metaphor of the breakdown that he had, because in the very beginning he was very strong, he's very steadfast, he had this idea and he stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
And Barbara comes along and I think she shook him a little bit.
Yeah, he got sprung.
I mean, but I mean seriously, because he was we're gonna do this, and the next thing you know he's like, oh well. She kind of turned his, like I said, she just shook him for, whatever reason. And then maybe he started thinking, okay, well, in this new life or whatever, this new, what do they call it? What was their big master plan?
New America.
New America, yeah.
Yeah, their New America. Mm-hmm. Maybe thinking it just seemed like at that point I could just see his facade kind of start cracking, honestly, because it just didn't seem like I don't think he was really down with having her killed. I don't think he was really, I know he said the word, but I don't think he really meant it, because if that was the case, when they were on top of that building, he wouldn't have said what he said,
right?
As far as like, we can do this, we can do that. But then when she's like, you're crazy, then he was like, well, I'll kill you all. And I think at that point, his ideal or whatever, his plan, I think that just basically broke. So therefore, when Mike hit him, yes, it was very comical, a little bit cheesy, because you're like, really? Is that how he's going to go out? Really? But to me, I just felt like that was just kind of a suitable ending for him, because he just broke into pieces, because his main plan basically just kind of broke all.
That's a good way to look at it.
Shattered.
Yeah. Very good
If that makes any sense.
No, it definitely does. It's like you said at the end, he actually asked Barbara to leave with him. Like, he wants to, he's like, I can protect you and Courtney. He's like, let's go together. So there's obviously a romantic aspect there.
Right.
I think it's kind of crazy I agree with Travis on this when we talked about it before. I don't like the way it ended with Mike. Like, it was cool. Mike comes in, hits him with the truck, but at the same time, it's very like Dark Knight Returns. Catwoman hitting Talia. Like, you have this character that's been so hard to beat, and all of a sudden, somebody just comes in and rams them with a vehicle, and it's done. And it's like,
I got a good laugh.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Well, even Dr. Ito, he was supposed to be this big bad. And what?
Mm-hmm.
Cindy comes and just.
I actually like that. That was very poetic that his daughter kills him. Not only because now she's only killed her mother and her father, but because he deserved that from her. He really did. Like she should have killed him.
He went down like
he had it coming.
Beth was the least annoying she's been in every episode. I'll give her that. Like, she was the least annoying. When she had something to do. Mm-hmm. She was up there doing stuff. And she wasn't just, falling around and jibber jabbering.
Well, get ready for next season. You're going to see a whole lot of her.
She'll get the technology back, and she'll get the owl next season.
Didn't see? You know what we didn't see this season that I could have swore they said that we were going to see? We didn't see a Lantern or a Flash.
I think we speculated we were going to see that. I don't think they said
we speculated that.
Yeah.
But I could have swore that they said that like there was going to be like, and I know they have hints of it.
They did say they will have an impact. They just didn't say when.
Okay,
right.
Like what the impact?
Yeah.
Because remember, we still have the pink pen out there. We still have the lantern. Those are the things from the bag that are from the hall she still has, and we still got to go back at the owl, which is why I think that Chuck's coming back, because she's going to find the technology or some kind of software to rewrite this program. And she'll get the owl. Yeah, she'll get the owl inside the owl.
She'll find it in his collar or something.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe. Hey, Greg, you got your wish. You saw more of your boy at the end of the show.
You know what? I did, and I was super happy too, because like I said, I've been watching Community on Netflix. So and I like Joel McHale as a character, as an actor anyway. And as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, oh, it's Joel McHale. I was like, they're bringing it back.
Dude, I can tell by his walk. What are you talking about?
How? But how and why now?
That's what I want to know, and that's why it's a good cliffhanger to leave you on, because I want to know where, like, Sylvester's coming back from. Shining Knight left to go find the the seven whatever group he was part of.
Seven Soldiers of Victory.
7 Soldiers of Victory, yeah. And then we still have the possibility of having a Green Lantern coming in.
And a Flash.
And a Flash, which would be awesome. So there's a lot of ways this show could go in the future, but the Joel McHale at the end I thought was awesome. And I'm definitely excited to see where they go with that in the future.
Do you really think that's Sylvester?
I don't know, because I don't know how you explain the staff thinking that he was dead and picking somebody else. It may not be. It may not be. But if you give me Joel McHale as a character, I'm cool with that. Like, I want to see him, act as a character. So even if it's not Sylvester.
I can't wait to see what they do with Nightshade or Shade or whatever you want to call him next season.
Mm-hmm.
Because my main exposure to him was Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, and even there it was a cool power set. And then you remember at the end of season 4 of Young Justice, like, whoa, like those guys took him and beefed him up where he was like, he looked cool and like doing some cool shit. So if they do something like that to where they really just make his power scary, like I think it could be a really interesting character.
Well, you got
something good.
I want to know where he's been, where he's been lying low. We got the Gambler still out there,
and Eclipso, right? Is a new.
Oh yeah, the Eclipso gem. Yeah, the Eclipso gem at that point.
I only know him from the Justice League animated series too.
Yeah.
Great run as the March Towards Infinite Crisis. There's a 4-issue, I think, crossover with Superman and Shazam.
Okay,
so
check it out. Let's see. One more aspect I loved about this episode that I want to talk about was the relationship with Courtney and Pat in this episode. Loved it. Loved she gave him the mug. Like I said on the Super DC Alliance podcast, when you're a dad, no, I did not catch that was the mug from the beginning. But when you get a present like that from a parent, from a kid, it's the cheesiest thing ever. But getting anything from your kid that says "World's Greatest," whatever, is one of those things you hold onto. Like it's just so great. I know it's cheesy as hell, but it's just so great to get a "World's Greatest Dad" thing from your kids. It's amazing. I have all the stuff that my kids have ever given me like that. Just fantastic. And for a stepfather to get that from his daughter, it's just, it's the best feeling ever.
Yep, he's definitely that's the biggest thing we could say about Luke Wilson's character as Pat is like he did a excellent job being that good dad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Great casting for the role.
Very endearing.
Amy Smart, great casting as well.
Wow.
Wow.
Maybe we'll see a cameo from Owen next season.
There you go. And I can't believe they ended the show with, I'll say it again, fucking Hanson, Mbop. I almost got Travis to sing it at the end of the last episode. He started to, but then he stopped. And
I can't believe Travis admitted to what he did. I was like, I would have taken that to my grave. Nobody would have known that. Nobody.
I'm sorry, it made me laugh because
I would have denied that till the day I died and said that never happened.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I hate the way I love the music in this episode. Like honestly, they started out this series with No Doubt with I think I'm Just a Girl, that was the first album I ever bought. Was that No Doubt Tragic Kingdom album? Oh, yeah, I would have loved. There were a ton of great songs on that album. They could have ended the show with.
Listen to that?
Yeah, of course. Bought that at Blockbuster. Just so you know, bought that one.
I'm kidding.
Bought that one and the Hootie and the Blowfish and the Weird Al Yankovic album. Those are my first 3 CDs I ever bought. And I think Alanis Morissette Jagged Little Pill I think was in there too.
Oh, there you go.
Everybody had that.
Yeah. Those 4 I think were my first 4 albums. But that No Doubt Tragic Kingdom album was amazing. They could have ended the show with one of those songs
No
on
Doubt's
there.
A great fucking exactly.
But yeah, that's my only really quarrels with it was the mic smashing at the end. I had the issues with people, not with people. I had the issues where I feel like the justification of the killing. And yes, I didn't bring that up actually. Did it seem like that? Okay, she gets the staff comes at the end, takes her out in the chili cold with her little short shorts on. Okay, she goes and her belly showing. Yeah, she goes and sits on a metal water tower while it's frozen. Okay, and that scene went on for like 6.5 minutes. Like that scene could have been about 40. That long, yeah, I know. I'm being facetious. It was only like 2 minutes long, but it could have been like 30 seconds and been done. They went way overboard with that scene. Like, how many times do you have to have Pat look back at Courtney and smile? Like, it happened at least 6 or 7 times. Then looking back at each other, smile.
Money to burn. They said we're not spending it on Grundy.
That's what it was. I think they ended up with an over budget at the end. They were like, we got to blow this somehow.
They could have shown a ring fly into our orbit and just start looking for somebody. A little green trailing ring. Just start looking.
But that's not the type of ring he has. Stop it. That's not the type of ring.
We're changing it for this universe.
No.
And then a big old wooden stick just knocks the ring out of the water.
There we go. See, there we go. There we go, Greg. Greg goes.
There you go.
But Rock's gonna come in with this big stick from Walking Tall. Is that what's gonna happen? He's just gonna start slapping shit out of him.
That's a great movie right there.
That would be awesome to bring back out, and that's so cool.
That is pretty cool, yeah. But yeah, y'all got anything else you want to say about Stargirl? Anything else you want to point out? Stuff you didn't like? Stuff you loved?
I hope CW doesn't fuck this up.
Me too. I don't want 23 episodes.
Seriously,
don't give me 23 episodes.
I hope they don't mess it up.
He was directly Jeff Johns had an interview and was directly asked that question and said he had an interesting take on it in the sense of we had a lot of upfront costs in the sense of, and he calls out Stripe as one of those upfront costs. So he said the good thing about a second season is that we don't have those costs anymore. We have the structure built. We have
the character models.
So will we see probably some budget differences? Yes, but it is probably considered at this point your top rated show going into next season next to Supergirl.
Yeah. Keep it 13 episodes.
But we'll see with Batwoman. We don't have a
what Ryan Wilder, the people aren't super. I don't know. I know people.
I give it a chance.
I'm not talking about
giving it a season
there. Yeah.
But isn't that interesting though? Top 3 shows: Supergirl, Stargirl, Batwoman.
All led by women. Yep. It is very interesting. And, I'm the same way. I don't think that they're going to cheap out with the special effects when they go to CW, because I think CW still does a pretty decent job with that. I just worry about going to the 23-episode structure.
I don't see him doing that.
15 max. 15 max. I don't
even want to do that.
I don't want to do that either. I'd rather it be like 12. 12 is good. 12, 13 is good for me. But 15 I could deal with. Anything after 15, you're just going to have a bunch of filler crap in there that I don't want to see.
But again, remember, none of the CW shows are starting until January, so that's also going to play a factor into their episode.
They don't have a break or the hiatus or anything else before that.
They could do it, but I agree with you. It's time that if there is ever a time to try this out with the Flash and what do we got as another one? Supergirl. Batwoman was shorter because it was the first season. Legends has always been shorter. Black Lightning has always been shorter. Those 3 shows outside of Legends, I have my problems with Legends now, but the other 2 have been solid shows because of that exact reason, Greg. They don't have time for filler.
Yeah, and I don't think you need it. I think for some reason they try to put that out there. So, people are going to watch it, but it brings down the quality of the show.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Flash is a telling example of that the past 2 seasons.
Yeah. So, you know.
Let's get a question series. Let's just get into the question series.
Yes.
Can we do that?
I like that
That's
idea.
a big stage.
I like that idea. It's a good idea.
Hey, let's do it Montoya. Let's bring her back into it.
Whatever, I don't give a shit. Just give me a good question, like give me the same mannerism. Like, well, I don't know the Montoya version, but I'm assuming if she acquired the question mantle, I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming she had to have somewhat similar attitude and vibe.
Maybe.
So
It was a fun character. It was a fun character change.
I'll check it out.
All right, y'all. Well, hey, we've been going for almost 3 hours now, 2.5 hours now. Y'all got anything else you want to say about Stargirl, Transformers, Doom Patrol, anything else we talked about tonight? It's been a crazy night with a bunch of stuff backed into it. Any final notes?
I want more.
I want
Yeah,
more. I
boys,
like
a
that.
couple of weeks.
The boys are coming up, and when's
Chris,
when's that Avengers game come up?
Same day as the boys come out, September 4th.
Okay,
So
we'll be talking
I'm gonna
about
get
all
that
that
Avengers
stuff.
game.
Yeah, we'll be talking.
What do you recommend, disc or online?
What do you mean? It doesn't matter. You still get it.
Exactly.
Do you want to grab? You want to hold on to something and
I like
squeeze it
holding
tight,
things.
or you just want to?
Yes, I like holding things.
Well, again, here's the thing. Like we said on Marvel Alliance, just literally the beta for Xbox and PC started, or PS4 will continue. So whatever your platform of choice is,
I got PS4.
Pre-order on whatever your platform is. You will be able to play it this weekend, or you can wait till next week when it's open to everyone. You don't lose anything if you order it on Amazon. You could literally play it and cancel it, and you didn't lose anything. You got an early test at the beta.
You had to pre-order it though, right?
This
you
week
could pre-order it and then cancel the pre-order.
Yeah,
saying?
you
Okay.
don't lose anything else, so you can either pre-order it now, either any of the platforms, and pre-order it now,
shady
get one
guy
weekend,
over here.
or you wait till next weekend and it's open to everyone without any pre-order.
I'll just buy it. It's an Avengers game. I'm sure I'll love it.
I'll probably wait till next week because I gotta select what I can put on my hard drive because I don't have a huge hard drive on my my hard drive's not
Delete
big,
some
y'all.
shit, bro.
Tiny hard drive.
That's what she said.
Oh gosh,
tiny
geez, that's
tiny
way
little
too
hard
easy.
drive. Yeah.
TMI.
All right, cool. Well,
EDP space.
yeah. Let's go ahead and wrap it up then, y'all. Let's do our sign outs. Nathan, where can they find you? Well, Nathan, where
Well,
can they
find
find you
anywhere.
right now, buddy?
Nowhere.
They can hear you
bitches.
here and on Thursdays, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Nathan is Mr. Can't get a hold of him unless you contact me
Yes,
or anybody
Mr.
else that
Can't
knows
get
the
a hold
number
of me.
to message that. But I'll relay
I'm sure
messages
nobody's
for sure.
trying.
Yeah, dude, I'm getting a ton of people on my Twitter feed talking about where's
Sure,
Wildwood
they're blowing
at,
you. Yeah, and it's everybody here. It's everybody on the show.
That's right. Sarah, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at MyLadyKitten. I kind of bounce around a little bit. Obviously, I'm excited that you guys can find me here now. So, and then also on Tuesday nights, you can find me in the chat room for the C3 Panthers podcast. I always
Chat
like
room
to
queen. Yep.
talk to I know I've been kind of slack lately, but you know.
About to start my own OnlyFans.
But and then also I'm thinking soon I'll be one of the guests on Slice of Film.
Nice.
Katie and I are gonna
Ooh.
talk about. We're gonna get into the Twilight Saga.
No, that's a very,
Yeah, I'll
very
be sure to skip those episodes.
two female films to watch.
Eagerly
right
awaiting
there.
those.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about books and everything. About I actually bought my first book. I have not bought
The
a
new
book
book?
in so long. Yeah, it's
I ordered it for my wife, and it's gonna be like 1 to 3 weeks because so many people were all over it. And I was like, oh man,
I did that
I'm
too,
sorry.
but then I was in Target the other day and
And you
it was
found it?
there.
Oh,
Yes,
cancel
sir.
that shit.
There were
I'll go
two
to
on the
Target
shelf,
tomorrow.
and I said,
I'll go to
okay,
Target
I
tomorrow and
canceled my
I'll cancel
Amazon
that shit.
order and I bought it right then.
There you go. There you go. You talking about a
So
Twilight?
that's gonna be interesting.
Yes,
Well,
but-
it's
that's my
Midnight
wife's
Sun.
thing. Oh
It's,
god,
okay.
that's my wife's thing, and there's a new book to it, and
It's Midnight Sun. It's
it's a whole
Edward's.
thing.
It's through Edward's eyes.
Mm.
So it's basically the first book through his eyes, which
It's
is
a
going to be
whole
fun.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll probably snicker over that one too.
Hey, I mean, I can get my once my wife gets the powers to it, I can get her on the cast with you, and you guys can just sit there and just Twilight out. I'll
And
get Katie
my
on,
wife will
let's
come
get
Twilight
you
out with
girls
y'all.
on
So
that.
yeah, let's have a girls' night.
Look,
Y'all Twilight out.
I found my Twilight book, and honest to God, I had one of my movie tickets was the bookmark in there, and it was like from 2008.
That fandom there.
Yes, and that was like one of the 3 or 4 times I went to see it in the theater. So yeah, no, I didn't have
3
a
or
problem.
4 times.
I get it.
I
Something
hear you.
passionate. He's something passionate.
Hey, like I said,
We get it.
let's plan it. We'll do a Twilight series with all the wives and all the women on here, and then after that, y'all can do a Hunger Games series because I know y'all want to do that one too, right?
Hey, I like Hunger Games.
I like
I'll
Hunger
get
Games
in
too.
on that.
Yeah,
I'll get in
I
on
like it
Hunger
too.
Games.
Yeah, I'll get on that one.
I haven't gotten into that yet.
Oh,
No.
really? Oh,
I've
Can't
been, I've
test
been,
never
I've
clean.
been to Harry Potter. I
I've-
haven't done the Hunger Games.
So
yet,
okay, Chris needs to watch Harry Potter, and Kate and Sarah needs to
I
get
have
into.
watched Harry Potter.
Chris needs to get into Harry Potter. Needs to get into Harry Potter, and
Hey,
Sarah
remember,
needs to get
Travis
into.
is the one that refuses to watch things for the podcast.
Yeah,
he don't
sure.
give a shit. Like, we're gonna do Lord of the Rings. He's like, I'm not interested in that
I'm out.
shit. Fuck you. I'm not watching it.
But Arrow.
Yeah,
you
but
all
I'm
have
gonna
to
watch Arrow for the 17th time. I'm gonna watch
There's
the
nothing
pilot
wrong with
of
that.
the Flash. and I think the
Absolutely
pilot of
nothing
the
wrong
Flash
with
is
that.
Perfect.
And my phone's
I've
blowing
seen
up now.
that
Travis
75
calling me.
times.
Yeah. Cuss that
Nothing wrong with
Nathan
watching
guy
Arrow
out.
17, 20 times.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Chris, where can they
love you,
find you, buddy?
Travis.
You can find me on Twitter at Chris Balga. You got 2 shows with Travis Snell on Wednesdays now, Marvel Alliance, that Marvel A podcast, and then my show, World's Finest True Believers, leads off the week for the Geek Ultimate Alliance now on Mondays. This past week on Monday, we dropped a new episode. Oh, what is it always at that point? Oh, it's been a long week, but yes, the Batman Who Laughs with my good buddy Daryl. At that point, good timing with death metal out there. Looking at that lovely, lovely book, and then this week, I don't think Travis Hines has promoted it enough.
Yeah. Every time we talk to him.
He is very, very excited about. Yes, we will
Very
do
excited.
retro episode of Injustice Year 1 on Monday, followed by the next week the newest episode with him again with Injustice Year 2.
Oh yeah. Excited for it.
It's gonna
Excited
be
for
2
it.
weeks of Travis.
There you go. And you can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter. That's my personal handle. Check me out. Talk to you about just about anything. Check me out on Tuesdays on the DC Alliance podcast with Travis Hines. Then also Friday mornings on the Superhero Discussions podcast, where we're going through Superman the Animated Series right now. Really, really fun show. Almost done with season 2. Don't know what we're tackling next, but it'll be announced pretty soon. Friday
Could be a Marvel show.
It probably is going to be a Marvel show that has to do with spiders. But and then Friday nights, you can check me out here, Super Civil Servants Podcast Live. Check out the handle. All of us are involved in the handles and the shows. You can find any of us through there. And then Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can find me talking on the chat and Sarah in the chat room. We're keeping the C3 Panthers podcast room lit up, so that way we can have good conversation there. Check us out. It's always a fun time. That's about. Oh, and then me and Travis Snell are recording our second episode of Batman You Complete Me tomorrow, which comes out next week sometime. So, well, when you're hearing this week sometime. So if you haven't got a chance, check out the Geekverse Alliance.
What's the topic?
Mostly going to be about Pattinson, Robert Pattinson Batman.
You're such an audio whore.
Yeah, I know I am.
Just
I like to get around.
slut.
I like to get
You're
around.
just going everywhere. With
I'm
your
easy
mouth.
too. All you gotta do is ask me, and I'm usually there.
Jeez.
And then Sunday, I think I'm doing. What are we doing? Clone Wars. I think we're doing.
Maybe I hope
Yeah,
so.
might be doing Clone Wars with Katie and Nathan, so it'll be fun.
Again, I asked this question. When does he sleep? Tuesday.
Exactly. Tuesday.
Tuesday, not the whole day, just Tuesday.
Does your jaw ever hurt, Greg? Or I mean, like, no, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't answer that. Don't answer that.
No. That's why I was gonna try, and then I was like, no. I was like, anything I say here is gonna be bad. Like, it's one of those questions that no matter how you answer it, it's gonna be bad.
Warning, warning, danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Oh. Well, good deal. Well, y'all, I appreciate coming on, man. It's been an awesome week as usual. Had a lot of stuff covered tonight, but until next week, for everybody who checks us out, keep pounding.
Later.
Bye, fellas.
Travis sucks. Oh. No.
Change it from Brent to Travis, huh?
Yeah.
Let's see. Now I've got to stop the actual feed here.
Make sure you do that.
Yeah,
End
please do.
stream. End. Yes. Ended stream.